fast.
This conference will now be recorded.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, November 9th, commission meeting. Start off with public comments. Members of the public here. I don't see any bubbles lighting up. Okay.
I had one that came in that you also got that it was requested to be read.
Okay.
Said she could not be here, either that or virtually.
What, okay, yeah, if you want to go ahead then.
I told her I would read it.
Okay.
This is from Erin Weeby. I do not know where she's from. Did not give me that information. Erin Weeby. It says, I would like to ask our county commissioners to reconsider a mask mandate for the health and safety of Marion County residents. Our numbers in the county are the highest they've been yet, and hospitals are reaching critical stages and COVID units are nearly full. Our kids deserve to stay in school, continue playing sports, continue going to youth groups, and so much more. Schools are working so hard to keep our children safe in school by making masks mandatory, social distancing, and frequent hand washing. COVID-19 is not going to slow down if school is the only place that it is mandatory. We all need to wear masks and do our part to slow the spread. Please help slow the spread and make our county safer by issuing a mask mandate. Erin Weedy.
Go ahead and forward that to Tina, just so easier.
Great.
Make notes.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, I'll go ahead and close public comment. Unless,
Okay, yeah, I will address an individual, another citizen when we get to the code, because we need to,
okay.
I don't know if Deidre's gonna be on or not.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Thank you.
Hey,
Before I try again, I'll close public comments. All right.
nobody wants to be that close to me anyway.
Go on to administrative business. Unless you see otherwise, we can go Deidre first, or
I don't
I'll
see
see her
Deidre
mom.
No.
So,
Okay. Ready?
yeah.
In your packet, you have department revenue reports. You also have the information on the Senior Citizens of Marion County meeting that's coming up on November 20. So the agenda and then the previous meetings in there for information. And then I have the minutes of October 26.
Does anybody see any corrections on the minutes of October 26th? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve minutes of October 26th. Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Dave?
I took no sleep, sorry.
There we go. 5-0.
Okay, and then I have the minutes of October 30.
Any corrections on October 30? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve October 30 minutes. Second by Kent. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I stayed, I wasn't there.
Okay. Dave abstains. So 4, 1 abstention.
There's one on each side of this page to sign. I do have a couple of salary sheets here.
Okay. All right. Looks like we have salary change for Colleen Mitchell, dispatch, from $13.25 to $14.34. Reason is a change from part-time to full-time 911 operator. And we have a salary change for Donald Stebbins from the jail to $13.08, new corrections officer.
I do have just the same form we've been signing for all our other approved community development block grant businesses. It's the determination of level of review, and this one is for Middle Creek Mining. It just needs the chairman's signature. The grant award has already been approved by the board. Thank you. We have received the application for cereal malt beverage license for Last Chance B. And the first step on that is to send a notice to the township board. And they have a certain period of time if they want to protest that or to comment on it. I was just trying to see if that had an approval on it or just a signature. I think it's just,
Looks like just a signature.
it is, just a signature.
Okay. So, notice to the township board for Marion County, Gale Township, Last Chance Bait Shop. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Randy. Any other discussion?
Do we approve it before it goes to the township board?
It's fine to approve the notice.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Dave?
Aye.
5-0.
Aye.
Okay. We have some early checks for today. And then later on, I have Spark checks for approval, but I thought you may want to wait until Janine presents the Spark information. But I do have 2 early checks. One is for judicial, and then the other one is for risk management to pay the second portion of the Spark administrative invoice that's under our current agreement with Swindle, Jansen, Hopkins. So those would be the 2 that are in front of the green paper.
Okay.
The total amount on that is $14,473.82 for those 2.
Make a motion to approve early checks at $14,473.82. Second by Ken. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
5-0.
So everything behind there is for later.
Later. Need Dave's approval for a stamp. Is that critical? Okay.
If he wants to see. Dave, if you want your signature on those, would you like us to use your stamp?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if he has one yet. So-
I don't think I did.
Yeah, I don't think you have one.
At your X. Leave your mark.
I can pass.
Okay.
Just come back around.
Okay. I did include in your packets proposed closing dates for Marion County Courthouse and proposed pay dates for 2021. Generally, these are approved by board action. This does have Columbus Day on it. We did have that as a holiday this year, but this is the first time. Generally, judicial offices have it, but the county hasn't. So whether you want to approve that again for next year or not, here's the list.
So Tina, I have a question on that. Monday, the 27th, after Christmas, I mean, I understand Friday, and then Saturday being Christmas, and then you have Sunday. Why would we be taking Monday off?
We do 2 days at Christmas, and if it falls on a weekend, it's usually the day before and the day after the
You
weekend.
get a day for Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not saying we can't.
Wait, okay, so I understand Christmas Eve, which is the 24th, okay? So, I just don't understand why 2 days after the holiday's over, you get the day off. I'm just questioning that.
If
I
it makes more
understand when it
sense to
falls
go-
throughout the week, that's a little different.
You can go
When it falls
Thursday,
on a
Friday.
Saturday, it just seems like, you know,
It's your holiday and you're gonna get paid one way or the other. I mean, that's so, if you don't give them Monday off, well then,
You gotta give them Thursday.
you can move it back to Thursday, which is possible, or you pay them.
well, you pay them anyway for Christmas, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna get Christmas pay, then you have 2 days off.
no, If you get 2 days off, that's your 2 holidays.
That's, so you're gonna have Christmas and Christmas Eve,
Well, Christmas is obviously on a Saturday.
correct?
So,
Yeah, that's all, that's usually a little difference out in the real world when it falls like that. But I was just bringing it up, I'm just thinking it's a little unusual.
I can look and see what our manual says about
I'm pretty sure
It's
the
fine with me.
the handbook probably, I mean, if they've committed to the handbook when they hire on,
Here, I'll just get,
They get
would you
2
like me to
holidays.
get, so I can see how it's written, or do you need it?
I'm gonna go along with them because they're gonna go with it, so I'm gonna go along with them, but I just think it's a little irregular, it's a little off from what happens out in the, when you're not working for a county or something.
Yeah.
No.
It's just that we
no,
get 2 days
no.
for Christmas.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
give
wrong
2
statement.
We give 2 days.
Well, maybe some businesses do, but I
Yeah.
know, like the military and stuff does not, so.
It's all changed here in the
I
last
guess it's all personal
10
preference,
years.
but it's a little different too on a private business. You know, the private business has the right to, you know, because you're spending your money rather than taxpayer money. That's a little bit different.
No.
So, I was just questioning it, just looked a little odd to me, so.
And we don't have to have approval on this today if you're not comfortable.
I think it's pretty in line except for what, Columbus Day.
Right,
It's
that
the
would
only
be the
one that
one.
wouldn't be in the handbook.
Yes, that's the one that we were given this year, that we haven't had in the past. The judicial offices get it every year, but this is the
it-
first time we've had it.
Are the city offices closed?
Some of them are and some of them aren't.
And just, you know, sometimes that causes a conflict between transfer station or something like that too, you know, so that's the only reason why I try to stay more in line with.
Yeah, I think you should have Columbus Day off. Enough places have it off, you should
And-
have it off.
and I don't have
Banks
it.
are closed.
Problem, it just,
Military's closed.
And putting this out there, I guess they should know that we're closed, so.
And we do put it out in the paper as well.
Jonah,
Yeah,
I would delete Columbus Day and leave the 2 days of Christmas, so people can have a long weekend. Columbus, so we just added it last year, and it's too many holidays.
okay.
And see, the only thing that I would say about that, Dave, is, and I agree with what you're saying in part, and I don't mind, like I say, I was ready to give Columbus, because Columbus is an official holiday. But the Monday after Christmas, since Christmas falls on a Saturday, is not. So that's really not a holiday. I know you can say we're gonna give you a long weekend, and that's great, we give long weekends for whatever reason, but it's not a holiday. So, but it's still gonna be the thing, so I don't care one way or the other.
The Christmas Day, a feel-good thing for the employees, to show that we appreciate giving them a long holiday.
Okay, so it's a day of appreciation then?
Family
Well,
time.
it's a family holiday, I think is what he's getting at.
Uh-huh, I hear that, but that's, you're kind of on slippery slope there, but I don't care.
We might be traveling by then.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what it says in our policy manual. The county will grant paid holiday time off to all full-time employees on the designated holidays listed below. New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, Friday following Thanksgiving, last working day before Christmas, and Christmas. From time to time, for certain occasions, the Board of County Commissioners may designate other days as special holidays. When any regular holiday falls on a Saturday or Sunday, the preceding Friday or the following Monday will be declared a holiday by the Board of County Commissioners.
The preceding or the day after, not usually both.
That's just
Well,
talking
we
about
have
one
2
holiday.
holidays.
Yeah.
Christmas
For
Eve don't
Christmas.
fall during the
Christmas
weekend.
Eve really
So we
isn't
would
an
need to
official holiday.
designate, the day for Christmas, whether you want it to be before Christmas Eve or after, according to this.
How come our deal doesn't say Christmas Eve, because this part of it, it's a holiday too.
Is that an official holiday?
It says the day before Christmas.
Okay.
Isn't that what I just read?
So it's just the day before Christmas to Christmas Eve, okay.
Yeah. Let me go back to it. Last working day before Christmas
Yep.
and Christmas.
Yep.
So,
There you go, last
Here's,
one.
The last working day and then Saturday, yes.
so here's a
and
shot.
if it falls on the weekend,
Yeah.
we designate a different day.
Yeah, so I make a motion to approve. With that being said, then that the Friday and Saturday be, unless, now, I wouldn't have no problem if the county employees voted to take Thursday and Friday off.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a
I
problem.
wouldn't have no problem with that, come back and have Monday, you know.
I think we need to make that decision because they could be all over the place.
Yeah,
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 that
I
could be.
mean, we give them that, we have give that before, we've done that to give them a chance if they wanted Thursday, Friday before, but,
So
anyway.
now- I'm sorry.
No, that's just, I'm just saying, I would go along with that too.
I want to throw something, and it might muddy the waters a little, but since Columbus Day wasn't a holiday in the past, and it was this year, what if we offered Columbus Day as a cleanup PTO day? So your comp time. So you could elect to take Columbus Day off and burn some comp time.
Well, if you're gonna pay others for it, just.
No, I
So you're
wasn't.
just gonna use it for that?
I was just gonna say that day, you know, they could be countywide, decide, okay, we're all gonna use comp time up that day and close the offices.
Jonah,
Yeah,
this is Dave. I think you're making it too complicated. Take PTO any day. And we owe them 2 days of paid holiday at Christmas time.
yeah, and I'm not talking about Christmas at all.
Are we gonna, you know?
I was just talking about Columbus Day.
Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Monday. We owe them 2 days of Christmas.
Right, Dave, I wasn't referring to Christmas at all. I was talking
I
about
know, but
Columbus Day.
Day. Wait, you just forget about that. Make it too complicated.
Columbus Day could be an option to try to do something like that.
So can I complicate it a little bit more?
Yeah, I've
So-
already muddied the water.
Yeah, so if we, in our handbook says that we pay the day before the holiday and the day of the holiday, okay? Why are we then not paying Thursday, because you just said that New Year's Eve is a holiday. If New Year's Eve is a holiday, we should pay the day before, which would be Thursday. And then you could apply that very same theory up here on New Year's Day. Since it's Friday, why are we not paying Friday and Monday for that one? I mean, we're kind of, you're not following a pattern.
We only get 1 day for New Year's, not 2 days. We get 2 days for Christmas.
Okay, so you don't have that defined though, in the handbook, because you're saying if a holiday falls on a Saturday, then you have the day before and the day after. So, the following work the day after, which would be Monday, that's your justification for Monday. So I'm asking why the same policy doesn't apply to New Year's Day.
Well, we don't have that on our calendar for 2021 because that's in 2022.
What is it?
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day would, if
Because
you're following.
the New Year's Day for 2021 falls on a Friday.
Well, that's fine.
So we would
just
get that
go over
day.
then to the next year, but okay, so then you would have had the same thing. Okay, so let's just stick back then with,
So
The-
I
okay,
think,
let's just
I
get
know
back
you were
with,
going with it, but that's the next.
okay, so since that falls in that line, so then what about your Christmas Eve holiday? You're not paying the day before on Christmas Eve, and Mr. Dalkey just clarified that Christmas Eve is in fact a holiday for the county. So if it's a holiday, why are we not paying the day before?
The handbook says that we get 2 holidays
On-
at Christmas.
on the
If
day.
it falls on a weekend, you can designate the day before or the day after.
Okay, so then
And we
basically-
already have Christmas Eve off.
Okay, so it's not saying then that Christmas Eve is a holiday, it just so happens.
It's
to
saying
be
the
It says
day
the day
before
before
it's
Christmas.
It
It's a
says the
holiday.
day before
Which is
Christmas,
the same thing.
working day
Right.
is the holiday, which I call it Christmas Eve.
Well,
That's not right to the handbook, so.
Yeah.
so, I just,
Sorry, I didn't know this was gonna be complicated.
no.
I didn't either.
No, it sounds like my idea is a little too complicated, so I'm gonna take that back off. the
Sounds
board.
like mine is too, so I'll take mine off, so.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and approve, make a motion to approve the closing dates for Marion County as listed 2021.
Second.
Second by Ken. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
5-0.
Okay, so the one, we do have Columbus Day listed, so does that mean
Yep.
that Columbus Day
As
will be on?
listed.
Okay.
As listed.
Okay. So, can we also do the payday schedule?
I hope that one, you went back to the Monday through Wednesdays one and Thursday and Fridays the other meeting, 2 meetings. the other
Yeah,
week.
yeah, there's none that look like they're on Monday. Right?
Nope.
Yeah, there isn't one that's on a Tuesday. But then again, we don't do the Monday meeting. Is what
Right,
we-
so this is just to approve the paydays as the last working day of each month.
Yeah, so I will go ahead and make a motion for 2021 payday schedule to approve as listed. Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Right.
5-0.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I apologize, that was,
Sometimes it's good to have a little.
I mean, it is good to have discussion. Okay. So, last time that we met, you had asked that we find out performance bond, payment performance bond cost for these bids. So I have that, and then Bryce went through and added some more information to the bid sheet. Which I didn't have the performance bond information put on there, but it was on your administrative sheet. But Stanfield indicated 4%, Ray indicated 1%. You'd see indicated 3 to 5% depending on the amount of the bid. And then they also suggested the idea of doing a 5% escrow where they pay us 5% until they're done with the job, and then it would be applied. And then Trust did not, they were gonna find out, but they did not get back to me before meeting time, so.
After I figured in just some rough numbers on the percentages, it doesn't change where they came in. I mean, it doesn't make one outweigh the other by cost, and they still stay in relative alignment.
One thing I did want to say was, when you went out to bids, you specified you wanted 3 references with your bids. None of them put those in there. So, I mean, I'm not saying good or bad, I'm just saying you requested it and they didn't put it in there.
So all the bids could potentially be thrown out.
Technically, yes.
But I guess I'm more looking for, did you go out with any of them, or?
Isaac and I met with Stanfield, Yutzi, and I believe it was Trust. I did not meet with Ray, and I'm not for sure about him. Kind of going through there.
Is it okay if he's gonna be doing a lot of
Yeah.
talking,
Oh.
is it okay, Pete?
Sorry, Bryce, thank you.
It was very, very tough to try to compare apples to apples. You know, they all have different processes. We mainly looked at the warranties. Like I said, I know the ones that I met with did not include Ray. I believe Isaac was in the same situation. We felt comfortable, I guess, with any of them. I think Isaac and I both felt the most comfortable with probably Stanfield, simply because they asked a lot of questions. They were actually the one that contacted the insurance company, or actually made the first contact with them to discuss that. As far as I know, the others didn't, but maybe they did. Obviously, the insurance coming back to help does cut some of that off there. They also offer that at no cost to us, that 2-year warranty. They come out every 6 months to look at that. Now, I'm not saying that if they didn't do their job correctly, that wouldn't be any big deal, but, you know, so. But like I said, it's very, very tough to compare apples to apples when they all have different approaches. They're all proprietary operations. So to say that one is better than the other, that's why you have to look at the warranty more than anything on what they're offering. Payment plans vary a little bit too. Some of them half down, half completed, others were a third, third down, third when material showed up, third when they were done. So, again, that's kind of tough, but, I guess it comes down to the fact is if you want to look at doing everything, or if you wanted to, do one or the other, or all of whatever the case may be, but otherwise, like I said, we just put that together, trying to make heads or tails. There were a few things where I guess it was a little frustrating because one of them didn't quote this, another one quoted replacing skylights when there was no skylights on the buildings, and it was kind of a strange thing. I'm guessing they cut and pasted their bid and forgot to take that out of there. The one did specifically say that they would replace the whirlybirds on top of the lake buildings, where the others didn't specifically say that. One of mine said they were just going to coat the skylights, and I would rather have them replaced. I mean, if you're going to go up and do the work, I'd rather have new skylights, because those are the ones that are going to cause you problems more than anything else. So, but like I said, based on what we liked, that's the most we were comfortable with. But again, that's a commission decision. So.
But the warranties do appear a little bit stronger for Stanfield, from what I can see.
Well, and like I said, that's
if they're worth $10,000 more in warranty, I don't know.
That's the
Because
question.
it could be.
That's the question. You don't know. But like I said, we felt the most comfortable with them because they were out there. They spent a lot of time. They asked a lot of questions. Like I said, obviously they contacted the insurance company too. So, because he says he specifically mentioned that they worked for the Marion County School District too, and the others didn't specifically talk about who they had worked with before. But this one says, yeah, you can call Quinn Trapp anytime you want to. They'll give us a good recommendation.
Yeah.
But anyway.
None of them are local.
Yeah, I think the closest ones are two of them out of Newton, one of them was out of.
Do we not have any roofers in Marion County?
Mm-hmm. Not to deal with these kind of roofs.
Okay, so we don't have any in county?
Yeah,
Okay.
because these are all basically metal roofs, things like that. Most of our roofers around here are just
Really?
the composite shingles.
Really?
So, as far as repairs, I mean, we've got Delvin Head does a lot of stuff, but he's mostly new construction. And I actually talked to him, and he didn't submit a bid, so he wasn't interested. So, yeah, it's one of those things. When you come to metal buildings, it's kind of a unique thing. Anybody can do a composite roof if they want to, but anyway.
So personally, I think that Stanford is more reasonable than not the cheapest, but they offer a good warranty, like Mr. Decker said, and they're more reasonable. I mean, the other ones are just, as far as I'm concerned, taxpayer money, they're out of sight. And for what they offer for that money, I just don't see it. So that's where I stand.
I guess I'm most comfortable after what Bryce said with Stanfield, but I just, whichever one we pick, I want to stress that I want the payment performance bond included.
And it didn't mention how long that would. Of course, here's the other thing is going into November. I don't know how much this work may get done yet this year or not. So it's going to be maybe a couple days, whatever else. I didn't know how long the performance bond would take. I mean, you might be able, people in business may be able to.
I don't think it takes very long.
If they're a reputable company, you wouldn't think so.
Most of the time, especially if they've already done to figure out what the percentage is, it usually within a couple of weeks. And it usually goes for the term of the contract, and then they have to describe to their insurance how long they project it to take.
Sure.
That being said, I make the motion. Are we, just for discussion, are we wanting to do everyone, or has anybody got a problem with any of them?
I think if we're going to require the payment performance bond, we probably would keep them all intact. That way
I separating them
because
out.
then it holds that one company liable, one insurance company to go after if they don't get it done.
I'd make the motion to go with Stanfield Roofing for all the total of $133,538.61 to replace the Location 1, 142 North Coble. Location 2, 1958 180th. Location 3, 2766 Remington. Location 4, number 1 Office Drive.
And, can I get you to include the payment performance bond?
Yes,
4%?
yes, that's with the payments of the performance bond on. Now, is that gonna add more money to us?
Yes.
Okay, so the 133 was what the bid was, plus more. plus
So it'll be
more.
just shy of 140.
Yeah, shy of 140.
Diane, second? Legit?
What?
That's all legit. We're good?
Yeah?
Okay. All right. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. 5-0.
Okay. The only other thing that I had was a question on whether you want to hold a Christmas party this year for the employees, and if so, then we need to move ahead on that. We would generally have that fairly planned by now. And with the way the virus is, I just didn't know what your thoughts were and whether we should
Could we
even
do
hold it.
something like a drive-through meal form or something like that? That would be,
It's gonna be cold, so
just to show.
outdoor events a little tough.
Yeah, well, I mean, you pick it up in your car, or go back to work or whatever, just to show appreciation.
Yes. I'd be in favor of having the Christmas party as normal, unless that time comes up and you have a plan B. So say that the risk is too high, then you nix plan A and move on to plan B.
I'd be okay with that also.
I think that's great.
But I don't know what
Want
plan B
to
should
stay
be.
first.
That's what we're kicking.
Now, some type of drive-through meal or something like that could be part of the plan B, I guess.
So can plan B just be a bigger building so you can accommodate more people or something?
Could be a hybrid system too, where people that don't feel comfortable could
Take
come
their
along,
meal.
come along virtually and maybe stop through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we ought to move forward with the plan for that. No different than the other year with the Lake Hall.
I know you can, depending on how many we have come, based on last year or two, I don't know, did we even use the north side?
We usually have used the north side for our activities.
But I mean, there would be more area to spread out.
Right. Do you want to do that on, like a luncheon after payday, or do you want to do it evening? I mean, we've done it both ways.
What was last year?
That was
Last year was the
after.
evening, I think, wasn't it?
Which is more disruptive? Pretty well gonna shut down. If we do it after.
Right.
Evening would be best. That way you're not disrupting.
We shut down anyway.
Oh, okay.
On the, well,
That's right.
if we hold it on the Friday before New Year's.
That's a holiday, they're already off.
Or whatever the payday is, the last payday that month.
That would be the Thursday. And it has varied over the years, whether we closed down at noon on that day or stayed open the whole day, so.
I'd be in favor of being in the evening. I'm not gonna
It'd
get.
be nice to do something for the employees, whether it's A or B.
No, I think that, yeah. I'd make a motion to have the Christmas party, as has been in the past, at the Lake Hall in the evening as our plan A.
Second.
Second by Diane. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. didn't hear you, Dave.
He's asleep.
Not sure where I stand. You mean at night or at noon?
In the evening.
On New Year's Eve?
Whichever day.
I don't know what
Whichever day it
we'll
lands
have to
on.
find.
I'm voting no.
Okay.
Okay, so that 4-1?
One of, about 4-1 opposed.
Okay.
And then, I would make a motion for staff to review, an alternative method for the Christmas party to be presented in case of
Unforeseeable events.
unforeseeable events that may arise for the Christmas party plan A.
Second.
Have a second by Kent. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I seen his mouth, but I didn't hear him.
Aye.
There we go. 5-0? Okay.
Okay. Tina, are you done?
Yes.
You also sent us the Marion County reimbursement report for V2 final report. Is that gonna be later?
Yeah, Janine will be here and present her
Yes.
department updates, and I thought she would just present the Spark information.
Okay.
If you have a specific question on it, let me know, but, we also have those payments to be paid out. So I was just waiting until that item on the agenda, which is, with Janine.
Okay, we'll do it then.
Okay.
Okay. Then, I guess I see that Deidre's also on here. So COVID update, can just go on with that. And go ahead and move on with this. No, anything else?
Yep.
On to Bryce.
The Deidre's not on here?
Yeah,
She's on the agenda.
She's on the agenda.
On the agenda, so, okay.
So,
Good enough.
and I don't see her online, so I'm going to go ahead and make that move. Have the COVID update then.
Okay.
First of all, we got transport fuel bids. MFA is the low bidder, so I'd recommend that we go with him.
Make a motion to approve Bryce's recommendation of MFA.
Second.
Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Did you see this, Dave?
Dave? The MFA was the low bid. Motion.
Aye.
Okay. It's rough out there.
Yes, yeah,
It is
yeah.
a little rough. It'd be better if it was done, everybody did it, and it's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's when some are here and some are there, it makes it hard.
Yeah, you just
I am
never know.
listening to it.
Yeah. You know, never know about technology, how soon you can get it or whatever else, so. Okay. We have received a word back from K-Camp, or actually, I don't know if we've received a check yet about the mower. They are going to give us the price for the new mower, minus deductible and the salvage value. One of our employees wants to purchase it, so he will give us a check for that. So I guess all I really need from commissioners is to replace the mower with the same mower that we have.
How did you go about letting our employees know it was for salvage?
He had just asked about it, and I asked the K-Camp man, you know, hey, I got an employee that wants to submitted that. He asked me how much. I told him, and he said, sounds good. Do you want to go back and promote it to everybody else?
I'm just bringing it to the board's attention that sometimes that kind of stuff just don't fly. If you're gonna do something with some county equipment, it either comes up for everybody or something, so.
Yeah, well, this
I'm
is,
just-
like I said, this is totally through them.
Yeah.
So
I understand that, Bryce,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that.
Now, is the insurance company gonna take possession of the salvage?
No, he will. That was a purchase.
So
by-
it'll go from us to them, to him?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's,
They-
if it was,
they-
if it
they
was
will.
the other way, it'd be simplified.
Right.
The insurance company would take it.
Correct.
Then you could,
They could buy it from them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And that's what they do it most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, essentially, that's what this is. I mean, they could come out, they could pick it up, and then he could go pick it up from them,
They're just saving them the issue of coming out and getting
pick
it
it
or
up, whatever
whatever.
else.
Yeah, so is he writing the check to here, or is he writing the check?
Whatever you want to do.
Or to them?
I mean, it's just a matter of that money will come out of what they're paying.
Well, I think,
Probably need to check with the insurance company, because it may need to go, check may need to go to them.
Okay.
And then,
Well, and like I said, if you wanna say that we'll turn around and open it up to, I don't know how you would do that, or I mean, notifying whatever else.
well, I would see if there's any other interest, and if there's no other interest, then just let this go.
So I will bring up a situation, Randy will remember it, he brought it up and I was a part of it. Deidre had a freezer she was replacing a couple of years ago. And I expressed interest in that freezer. I was willing to buy and pay for that freezer, because we were gonna get a new one. But we had to put that out throughout the county and put it out for sealed bids, is the way we did that. And so I would ask that you follow the same pattern. And then it's not fair to one department, to the other department, employees, and I had to go through the bids, and as a result, I lost it, I think by $5. But I'm
Okay.
just saying, that's the way we've done it, and that is the way I think we should proceed.
Well, pending the insurance, if the insurance says it's theirs for them to collect, then it's out of our hands.
I will follow up with them, let you know, and then if you wanna go with sealed bids, we can do that.
if it just comes up like this every once in a while, maybe we should have some type of policy.
I like the sealed bid idea, that way it's, you snooze, you lose, you don't get it.
Yeah, the only thing that they required was, we had the Hustler dealer over there in Newton, they actually put some of their own parts on there just so we could move it around. And all they asked was that when we got rid of it, that they got those parts back, so not a problem. So, okay, I'll let you know what they come up with. So, I guess the other question is if we're sure we want to get a new mower like that, then we just have to give them the go-ahead to get the new mower. If he can find it locally and doesn't have to ship it in, saves us $250 also. So,
We do have a dealer in Marion County, at least one.
who's that?
Hustler?
Hustler?
Yeah, we got Carquest there.
Yeah, CarQuest deal.
Yeah, that's who we went through. Yeah. I thought you said in Marion, but yeah, in Marion County, yeah, that's who we went through, because that's our local dealer.
Sticking with a Hustler.
The same exact thing straight across the board, only a couple years newer.
Yeah, I think
We talked about getting a bigger one or whatever else, it's like, no, we were happy with what we had, so.
I say if we're gonna get a bigger one or do something different, then maybe we ought to entertain bids from other
Right.
vendors. But if you're gonna stick with in kind,
I guess most important, we did receive a report on the incident.
Yes.
But I guess what I didn't ask then was the person in danger area? I mean, was he along the shoulder of the road? Is that what was?
The only story we heard was he was crossing the road and this guy left his lane and hit him in the other lane. The report from the highway patrol or whatever else did not name any
at fault.
at fault. And that honestly, that's what I was looking at too. They just reported the incident with drawings and things like that, so.
It's right around the curves too, right? Is that-
This was actually just north of the 260th section, so it's actually a straight section. 260th goes east across the reservoir.
Right.
North
Yeah.
of the curb.
So it's north of the curve.
Right north of that curve, yeah.
Okay.
We're all
Right,
guardrails.
right north of 260th is the curve.
Yes,
so-
yes.
so-
Well, but there's a curve there south, going south and also across.
Yeah,
the
across the
road.
causeway.
Right, so.
So, let's get the picture there. We're taking a Hustler mower out and mowing around guardrails or something?
We were, that area there is very, very difficult no matter what we do. We have to try to keep the weeds down to keep the guardrail. We've done it in the past where we take two guys with weed eaters out there and spend a good full day, 2 days out there. You always have guys standing out there where we can take the mower out there and get it done fairly quickly and not have the people exposed out there, i.e. in this situation, can use the mower. There's no good situation either way. We always have people out there driving by and.
Do we have any, just pending, to avoid future, do we have any signs that, maintenance?
We can put
Little
up
pop-up
signs.
signs?
We can put up signs
I know we can, but I mean,
It's-
it just,
we didn't at this point, but we've actually talked about what we can do differently. The other option is, if we're gonna go out and do this, we just put up 2 flaggers on either end and run a pilot car through there for how long it is. If it comes to somebody getting killed, it's pretty
Right.
cheap.
The people that mow at the reservoir, they just put up mowing operation signs, kind of on both ends.
Right.
They don't have anybody, run a pilot.
Right. And this is one of the things where there's not a lot of traffic out there, but it only takes one
right.
vehicle. So yes, we've looked at other things to try to do to try to change. It's just a bad. If we had a wider area to work with, it would be better. But we have what we have.
Weed eaters don't even hardly work anyway because of sunflowers.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. They plus if they're out there, they get 500 feet away from the truck, they run out of line or whatever else, and so that's there's a lot of exposure there too. So, But anyway, the main thing is just if we want to definitely get a mower, we can tell them they can go out and find one and have one ready so that we can proceed with that. So.
Do we share that with the
Transfer station, yes. And I talked with Josh, he was okay with any kind also, so.
Yeah,
Should we bid it though?
When it comes to this Hustler and stuff like that, I found out it's the same price wherever you go with Hustler.
But I mean, open it up to other brands.
Different brands, yeah. I don't know, when we talked to the insurance company, they liked the fact is it was in kind because there was the same information there.
Okay.
And it has been a great mower as far as that goes, but I mean, that's not saying there's other out there too, so.
no, I don't know, do we need a motion? Or just a directive? I would say just get replaced in kind.
What is the average cost of it, since they're all the same?
The new one, a brand new one with the same model was like $6,900 or somewhere about there. We sent the information in. We could get a bigger one, a little better upgrade for like a little over $8,000. But like I said, we felt we were comfortable with a 60-inch. It works out well for us. And like I said, this is actually a commercial series, so I mean it's performed great. I mean.
Rear discharge?
What's that?
Rear discharge?
No, this is a side discharge. The new rear discharge is obviously a little bit more money, and we didn't really see too much of a benefit in that with what we do. So.
Depends if you're throwing rocks out on the road and somebody drives by. I mean.
We obviously realize that that's something that we have to work with, but for as little as for as little as we mow out there on the roadway, things like that, the extra $1,300 or whatever it was.
I make a motion to replace the Hustler with the same mower that we had before, new purpose.
Okay. Motion by Randy. I'll second. Any other discussion?
I think we should put it out for bids. I think for that kind of money, we should at least put it out for bids. I mean, that's a large purchase in perspective, and I understand that he's saying they're all the same. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. If you put them out for bids.
As long as you can get comparable bids for.
If he makes the bid that way,
Yeah.
your results would be that way.
They're all built a little different, but it has to be pretty heavy duty.
And I guess, just out of curiosity, when you purchased this one, was that the same way? I mean, are there specs out there the way you specified it? Because it's the same, specifying that is gonna be, hey, we're looking for a 60-inch side discharge commercial zero-turn mower. I don't know what else we can really put out there.
No, I said make the most purchase the same.
I know, but I'm just talking if she wants to go out to seal it. Or
Well,
wants
you
to
just
go
get that model number and put it out for bids.
She's gonna stick with that model. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Well, no, I'm okay with that.
That's what
But
you said.
I guess I
John was
was
saying comparable, it wouldn't have to be it
Could
You
buy
just
some
want
other.
bids on getting that mower, aren't you?
I'm just asking for bids on that mower.
On that one, okay,
Oh,
I'm
just on
sorry.
that mower, I thought you meant
Yeah.
any kind of
I
mower,
got
as
you.
long as it
Okay.
was comparable.
No,
Okay.
I just think we should take bids on it.
Okay.
You might save 4,000 or 5,000, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was for a different mower.
No.
Okay,
Nope.
all right.
You wanna amend your motion to include bids pending
Yeah.
bid review?
Yeah, I amend my motion to go ahead and accept bids for the same model number as the mower we have.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
5-0. Thanks, Bryce.
Yes. I want you all to hold your breath. I actually received a call from the Kansas Department of Emergency Management this last week. We had a phone conference dealing with our damages and stuff like that. We have another one scheduled the first part of December. And within 60 days after that, we fill out all the forms we need to, send them into them. And based on what we have and we have done in the past, she feels that it should be fairly quickly getting through. Now, with that being considered, they won't tell us exactly when. But we at least got the formal process started for our flood damage repairs from last year. So,
19.
yes,
From FEMA.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, just telling you, we've got that formal process started, and we're gonna have, she said, well, I'll bring my scanner out. And I said, you better bring out several scanners, because I said, we're gonna wear it out. So we've actually talked about whether we put them on flash drives or whatever else to give them, because there's, I mean, we're talking stacks of paper. So, but anyway, the process has started, so I will keep you updated on that.
Good.
Received word that the railroad finally got the Alamo railroad crossing opened last week. Got the asphalt put in, so it's now opened. We just need to go back and make sure all the roads are all cleaned up. Like 250th and Alamo, 242th. So anyway, that's there. I think we'll talk about the other stuff later on. Received word back from 2 rocking companies, said that they're not officially requiring any contract. It's just a matter we're trying to figure out where to put the rocks, so I'll keep you updated on that. On the update, we finished the rebuild on Falcon from 190th to 180th. We're putting top rock on that today. I think it turned out well. There's quite a bit of work there we had need to do, replacing pipes and stuff like that. So they are currently up at Lost Springs right now doing the debris removal for the Kansas Department of Health and Environment up there. So hopefully we get that done between, we're hoping to get done tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. So last week, I think that we talked about the comp time issue that we had. I figured up roughly, I'm looking at about $20,000 just in comp time alone that I have out there for my people that, like I said, the biggest issue we have is they have to take off annually, because if they accrue too much annually, they lose it. Sick leave obviously is another issue, but I've got this comp time, so it's tough to say you gotta take off comp time when they wanna take off vacation time so they don't lose it. So it's just something to think about, that, again, that comp time is out there, so that, you know, we're trying to get knocked down, but we just, being short of help and stuff, right, get people off too, so. And then, lastly, unless you have something else, should go out to bids for the NRCS string bank stabilization projects this week. Got all the information, sent it out last week for any comments, whatever else from the NRCS gentlemen. They didn't really have any comments, so should be able to get that out. I will post it in the paper. That's what we talked about last week, that the bids would be due on the 23rd, and we would approve the lowest responsible bidder probably the following week on the 30th. So.
I already looked at the one down there in Florence. Where was the other address?
It's 350th east of Sunflower.
350.
It's on the dirt road. I have plans downstairs if you guys are interested in looking at
Okay.
them or whatever else. So they're nothing exciting, but yet they do the job.
So Bryce, I have a question for you. I had a phone call too for, and I can go down and look at this road. It's on 140th between Sunflower and Paul. I think it's the Albany Road.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a person down there that has kids that go to school and drive, and they're concerned about all the potholes. And if you had any plan or anything to get in there and maybe fix some of those, or, and I know you go in and do some of that patching.
Right.
Is that what the plan is, or?
We actually patched that last year. It was falling apart, even before we got done. This year it hasn't gotten any better. The road needs to be rebuilt, if that's something you want to do. In order to fix it right now, we really, I don't think we could put the cold patch material in there. Probably the only thing we could really do is put some rock patches out there like we did on 330th. Seem to be holding up well, but that whole road is just an absolute mess.
That's what I'm told.
And honestly, it's, you know, it's, to say that traffic volume, whatever else, it probably wouldn't warrant being a paved road, but yet that's a decision that we'll have to make within the county. But I mean, that's what we could do. We've been watching it, you know, and I mean, it's it hasn't gotten any better since we passed it last year. There's just nothing out there to.
Where's that at?
Olney
Road.
Road. Yep.
From Sunflower into Olney,
Yeah.
so from this side into Olney.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, it's very similar to what we had on 330th, and we were going to put rock patches, and like I said, it seems to be holding. But I do not have any plans for rebuilding it, but that's something that, you know.
How's that road holding up all the way out to 77? It's all asphalt all the way out, right?
Where's that?
From Olney all the way.
Well, east remarkably is holding up very well. For some reason, as much water as that thing has on it, it's held up well. And even Jesse said that in the last 8, 10, 12 years. He said it's just been incredible the way it holds up. And then you look at the other side of maybe it's the Sunflower
base.
yeah, I mean, it's just, but I mean, that's something we can look at is doing some work next spring, but you know, until then, it'd just be some rock patches is all we can really do.
There is a lot of people that live along there, isn't there?
Well, you know, and it's not any different than any other road. We've got to try to take care of the roads we can, but trying to maintain a paved road compared to the rock road is obviously huge money. So, and obviously we want to try to do some more work with the distributor and stuff, but with losing the distributor, we will be able to do that too. But like I said, I know we passed it last year, and it was breaking apart. So, especially on the outsides. So,
do you think you'll be able to do rock? Is that something
oh
possible?
yeah, yeah.
something-
Well, I mean, we can do rock anytime. That's not a problem.
Okay.
So we can get that in order. So.
It usually just doesn't last very long.
Well,
It's thrown out.
It's a temporary fix, you know, and like anything else, once you start putting rock out there, it basically becomes a rock road. You have to now watch it a lot closer than you would typically an asphalt road, even though this one is in good shape. So we are not short on work that can be done on our asphalt roads. So, but we'll sure get something going on. Anything else?
The only other thing I've got, Bryce, is you've said certain things about the projects. I just want to know exactly, is there anything we need to do to keep things going here? Because contractors is coming up for the Nighthawk project. Contractors looking for work for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And when do you expect to?
I hope to have the Nighthawk one done by the end of this week.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got the majority of stuff. It's just a few fine things. It did help that the work that we were doing did not require the state permits. So fortunately, that was one big thing.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of small little items and then getting sent out. So
Okay.
we'll give them a couple weeks on that also. But that shouldn't be a problem. The only issue would be getting in the material for the chip seal, but you know, this winter time, I still won't be able, because they won't be able to start until probably mid-April, I'm guessing.
Well, I don't think we want them to start right now.
Well, you know, it's weather dependent. Yeah, it's like anything else that we don't want them starting any sooner than weather will allow us. But, no, I totally understand that.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have one more question, since you brought up bids. Have you been contacting the rock companies about getting bids, and we're preparing crushing and stuff in preparation of winter? That we had talked about before?
I just said before that I heard back from 2 of them saying that they didn't necessarily need to have bids for making that material. It's just a matter of getting the rock where we need to go with it.
Where we
And I'm
want to
still working
store
on
it.
that.
That was,
Yeah, you said we got to figure out where we want to store it, so.
oh, okay,
Yep.
okay,
Nope, still working on it.
okay.
Anything else?
And you might as well keep on going when you're talking rock crushing. Are you talking for the pilot? on
Fresh
highway?
concrete?
Yeah, concrete.
I'll probably do that right after the first year, so I put in next year's money. I've been told that even with that big pile up there, maybe a week or two, they'll get through that so fairly quickly. I also did talk with Joe Pellick, with KDOT, about talking with the district engineer about that other pile up there too. And when I followed up with the email, he said, no, I forgot, but thanks for reminding me. So he'll hopefully be following up and see where that goes.
And he's hoping for a bid of less than $6 a ton to do that.
That's what I'm hoping. You know, it's just like anything else, wintertime, everybody's looking for work.
Are they gonna continue to go south?
Yes.
Working on
Last time I talked to them, they were having, I want to say, issues, the traffic control at the 290th intersection in Lincoln. You got the quarry going east, you got a paved road going west. They can't just haphazardly close that, and so they were looking at it. I don't know if it was going to be a four-legged intersection where you're going to have lights all the way or what. So there was a lot more work to that. And I actually, when we started this project up here last year, I recommended they put a little extra work in that because you're dealing with the quarry coming in and out there, plus if they happen to be in there during harvest time. So, but I have not heard back. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Josh, patiently waiting out there still?
All right, John.
How you doing, Josh?
Good, and you?
All right.
I priced some tires, I got some bids for tires for the Bobcat. Setco is $3,229.09, and rods for the same tires, $3,855. That's shipping and everything in on it too.
Say 3,000.
You have a copy for each of them?
No, I mean, I can just write it.
What was the first one, 3,000?
I ran off.
What was the first one, Josh?
It's at $3,229.09.
Who was that from?
Setco.
That's down here, makes it right.
And the other amount?
And the rods was $3,855.
That include installing?
Just, it's the freight. Freight was included in both of them.
So they're shipping direct to you,
Yes.
either one. So you're, yeah. Normally I try to go with rods, but if they're going right to you and we're not gonna get any road hazard or anything, because these are just solid
Yeah,
rubber tires.
These are just solid rubber tires.
So, and knowing that your budget, trying to stay in, I try to be more friendly to the local, but I think I push for Satco on this one.
Hear any other conversations?
Yeah.
All right. If not, I'd make a motion to go with Setco for $3,229.09.
Second by Diane. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0.
I did price tires for a semi. I need 4 tires on a semi. Rods was $984, and Webster's was $1,173.56.
For how many tires?
4.
Mounted.
I'd do that all myself.
Oh, okay, so you're just getting the rubbers.
Yep, just the.
Any road hazards on either one of them?
No.
Well, both of them are local, so. I'll make a motion to go with rods on 4 tires, $985.
Second.
Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0.
Like to talk to you guys about a trailer. I do have a trailer that's rusted. I was hoping to go through to next year to replace it. but it's pretty bad. You can walk by and touch it and your finger goes through the trailer. Is that something I can go ahead and start getting bids for?
Yeah, we need to know what we're looking at.
You want to use next year's budget?
If I could, yeah. But if I've got the money in this, I need to look in this budget and see what the price is. I don't know if I'll have enough to cover it in this year's.
So,
It's gonna be around 65,000 probably for a new one. Somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe, I hope less. They have been less. We have one for 55, so, but I'm just saying that might be a high price.
yeah. And you can always do it 2 payments too. You get the money this year and then money next year.
What kind of trailer is it?
It's our walking floor trailer for our trash. What it does is goes in different spurts, comes back and it just pushes all at once and it just starts pushing it out the back.
Do we ever look at used trailers, or is that available?
I'm sure that, probably talking about used trailer here at 65, aren't you?
I thought he said new.
What?
You talking a new one at 65?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can buy new ones for 65. But we need that information and then what kind of time, because Diane, what you just, the one you're talking about right now, I don't know, 813 is the number of it.
I think so, yeah.
And I've seen this trailer. This is the one that also tipped over
Yep.
the other day
Yeah.
because where we undocked it. But so I said this 813, the year 13 is the year we bought it
Okay.
or purchased it. Now I don't know whether it was a used trailer then or whether it was a new trailer, because we have bought some used trailers if we found them a good one in good shape. So, but 7 years, it's cost. If there's 65,000, that's $10,000 a year we're spending for one trailer. Each trailer got 4 trailers, so there's $40,000 a year we're spending for a trailer if we don't keep up on trailers here. And I don't know for a fact whether 13 was a new trailer, whether it was a used trailer, but it's pretty rusty. We've sent them out and got repairs from, it's been quite a few years since we've sent one out and had somebody re-weld on it. I can't remember whether it was Joe's the last time.
Was it just?
You was part of that one.
Yeah,
You
it was
said-
Joe's, and that was back in 2010.
Yeah, it was quite a while back.
Is that just spot welds though, or is
Well,
that?
you go in
is
and
that
patch, you go in and patch pieces and
Or
stuff.
just skin the whole inside?
I don't think we've ever done that, we always patched.
Because the frame apparently is pretty good, because it took that little tip.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I'm not too worried about the trailer itself, but it'd be more the boxing.
And I don't know whether there's other places around that would do what you just said, reskin the whole inside and do it somehow. I don't know what kind of weight that would be added to the trailer.
So what you're saying is the acid that eats that up from the garbage?
Yeah,
Moisture.
Moisture from that, the road salt, all that.
I mean, can you order a trailer that's already built to withstand that kind of stuff?
The only thing would look into aluminum trailers.
Yeah, oh, and that, we wouldn't want that. It'll get beat up.
The aluminum probably get damaged.
Well, as soon as you start packing into it, you're probably gonna bulge sides, you're gonna start hooking it, tearing it.
Well, if we get 7 years out of one, we could buy a brand new and put it on a lease purchase.
With the way the transfer station budget is right now, that's probably the option that you're gonna have to go with if you're
Yeah.
doing something. Cause
I would like to see, maybe take it over to Joe's Fab over there and see what the price would be for reskinning it. Because, and inspecting whether or not the frame is good enough to reskin it. You know, in addition to bids.
We'd know both
I know,
ways.
I'd agree with you, Jonah, except that I would want some sort of time guarantee to do this. I don't want that trailer sitting there for 6 months.
Yep.
So, and I know their business is set up for something different and do different things, and I understand that if they want to tackle that, but
Well, yeah, and if there's a different business that's more apt, I just throwing it out there because I know that they work on trailers. If there's another business that is more inclined to do that and have a competitive number, all going for it.
I don't know when you walk by, what you see is, like you said, you
Yeah.
go through a lot of it. I don't know how far down the rust goes. You know, that's where most of the acid, that's what you call it, I call it crap.
Well,
It might be that one of our trailer manufacturers could do that.
That's what I don't know. There's all kinds of them down at Wichita and stuff. But where does each come from?
I think this one came from Wilkins out of Stockton,
Missouri?
Kansas.
Stockton, Kansas, okay.
They've got a plant south of town.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to see some information, because, so we can take a look.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe my bid might be crazy. I hope, I hope it's no higher than that.
I like Kent's idea. We've got 3 different trailer manufacturers. And you approach them
They'd be equipped to do that and probably could do it pretty quickly.
and see if any of them are interested in building a prototype. Yeah, we'll get us a bunch of options, Josh.
Okay, okay.
If you need names of people to contact, we can get them to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Another is the guys at the transfer station are wanting to know the Saturday after Thanksgiving and Christmas if they could shut down for the Saturdays
After Thanksgiving.
after Thanksgiving and after Christmas.
Well, that was part of the 2020.
We did 2021, but 2020 is what they're referring to.
Do you have any dumpster or anything outside? Because when you're talking about Christmas and stuff, you know, a lot of trash.
If we do that, we might as well just open up, because people, they'll just throw anything and everything, and they'll overflow it and all that, so I'm gonna have somebody babysit it, so if we do that, we might as well.
So for Christmas, they already got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off.
Thursday, Friday this year. Next year it's Friday, Monday.
Yes.
This year it's Thursday, Friday.
Okay, yes.
So yeah, I wouldn't see, you wouldn't really want to come back in for half a day or whatever.
So you were planning on being closed the 27th, also 26th and 27th?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
here's
does-
the holiday schedule for
How does that accommodate Hillsborough and Marion? Don't they bring in recycling or something on Fridays?
They'll have to work out.
They do, we'll just have to work with them before the holidays, you know, we can, that's even if they pick up their recycling through that time.
Yeah.
So.
That's the holiday schedule for 2020 right there, that I
Right.
just went and got, so you
Right.
gotta look at it.
I'm in favor. If you close down Thursday, Friday, then you're not coming back in Saturday. Just
Busy time of year for trash though, ain't
it-
That's my point.
Sometimes it does, yeah.
Christmas.
I'm just wondering if you're not gonna be buried then on Monday.
Yeah.
And then Christmas, you wind up working another short week, 'cause next week will only be 4 days long.
Well, I know that the guys went off. I mean, everybody, that's always in every department,
Well,
every
yeah.
business, everybody wants Christmas and Thanksgiving off and all that, that's just a given. But, I just think there is gonna be an abundance of trash and, I mean, we're here to serve the people.
Yeah.
But you know, we've done it before and we haven't heard no serious complaints, so.
Oh, you've had 3 days in a row, 4 days in a
Yes.
row off at Christmas time and
2 days,
Thanksgiving?
two work days, and then your Saturday is your third day. But one time, they did make, if they was, but I don't think there's nobody working, running trash routes.
Yeah, I don't think any of the cities are working on those specific holidays.
I know they won't be the 24th, 25th this year, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Be two of them back to back is what you're looking at. One in November and one in December.
Yeah, and then you got New Year's
New Year's.
Eve.
You don't get the 31st off. You just get the first off, so that'll be it.
That'll be the Friday.
Yeah, it'll be the Friday.
So you won't be turning anybody away though when they come Monday? You're gonna deal with what you get,
We're
right?
gonna deal with what we get.
I don't know you've ever turned anybody away, have you?
There's a few, you know, the roofing companies we kinda had to, and they've always been real good at working with us.
Oh, okay.
When we-
So you're talking C&Ds?
Yeah, C&Ds and stuff.
Okay.
I know we've done it before and I know it works, but we haven't heard serious complaints. But if there's, either of the cities has something they'd like to do, give the cities, whoever your trash trucks are,
Mm-hmm.
that you have on regular schedule, ask them. I think we've even made a special deal, if they meet us a certain time, why we'll open up, take their truck too, so.
Yeah.
Take one person, a couple hours, come in and do that. I'm okay with it if we make some cooperation or connections with the cities that has trash trucks. Florence.
Ask anything else since the projects are looking to wrap up around that area of time. The construction needed any time for you to be in shutdown so that they can finish some things up. Maybe that could be coordinated also.
When is, have you heard, I haven't talked to Cody, a projected date for them to start using the whole thing?
Supposed to be in December, wasn't it?
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is,
You could basically have city trucks come in, dump on the floor and deal with it.
something we haven't had availability
Yeah.
to do if a date falls, comes in there, and I don't know.
If it
I know
comes
the
out.
floor is getting pretty close.
Because you've got an expanded floor that way, a lot of room.
Yeah.
So. I'd say, I'll go ahead and make a motion to give them the Saturdays off following those holidays, with staff keeping in mind that if it creates too much of a complication for our major trash import, that we work something out with them and make sure that we accommodate them.
Second.
Second by Randy.
Does that include me? If I was to come and talk to you about it and make arrangements?
You gonna bring the trash truck in?
I'll-
Yeah.
I
So,
can bring the farm truck in.
any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So I have a question for you. I see there's a lot of tin on that building, the new building, that's all, looks to me like it's messed up from a distance.
Okay, yes, inside there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was all temporary. That was a wall just to kind of help
Mhm.
separate the two.
But I seen that it's all dented up and stuff. Would we not want it to take a little more care or whatever? Maybe we could, I don't know, would we not want to keep the sheets to where they could reuse them or use them someplace else? Or, I mean, I don't understand what happened there. I mean, it looks terrible.
It doesn't take much to mess that tin up. One of them was, 2x4 was I was pushing, got kicked outside, and, it doesn't take a whole lot.
That's why you got the concrete runners, trying to protect the other tin, the tin that's gonna stay.
And I don't know in the bid, I'd have to go back and look at the bid, but that was provided, asked to be provided there by that, so it's not ours, I don't know, but I don't know whether the frame metal company heads, whether they had to, that was in the contract
Yeah.
to do that. And I suppose it's their material, Diane, I suppose.
So it's not ours.
I don't think so, I don't know.
Okay.
I do have a request that everybody remember to speak into your microphones.
Yeah.
They're having trouble hearing you this time, Diane.
I mean,
Okay.
it is a temporary wall, and the one thing I would like to just reiterate, Diana, is And I know you guys try, and it gets a little
Oh.
hairy in there, and it's tight.
Yes.
Even though it's a temporary wall, temporary is not over.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
So we got to keep it intact.
Yeah.
But I think Diane was asking more or less whether we could reuse it or something like that, I think, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because even if I was gonna put something up in the building and have a temporary wall, I wouldn't wanna have just beat it up because I could.
Yeah.
Or be careless because it's not mine.
Right.
I mean, I just don't think that showed. I've had phone calls on that, oh my God, did you see what they did out there, our new building already? And of course I'm like, I mean, it's a good point.
It is.
To show, you know, how we care for things.
I'm hoping it's down shortly.
Yeah.
It will be, if keep
Yeah.
going where we're going, it will be.
Well. Yeah.
Oh, you mean tearing it up? I'm talking about taking it down.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I get it. I agree.
We've got one more, and this one's for the noxious weed side of it. I am hosting next month the district weed meeting that we have every month. And I was wanting to sponsor the meal. You know, if that be something I can do.
You're not talking about a real huge crowd, are you?
No, you know, if we get a dozen people, that's, you know, most of the time it's about 5 or 6 of us that make it to the meetings.
We're having the meeting now.
The Lake Hall.
Okay.
And you have it in your budget, you can afford it.
What, yeah, we got it in your budget.
Yeah.
Okay. That's,
I would prefer that you keep it to a certain dollar amount per plate, but
yeah, that's.
it is your budget.
I think what we come up with is a sloppy Joe and, you know, maybe some potato salad and chips and something. It's gonna be low key anyway, so.
Good. Good deal. No problem, I don't think.
Okay,
No problem.
all right. That's all I've got.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks, Joe.
All right, thank you.
All right. Not seeing Deidre on. I know that it's.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, okay. Just saw D.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna assume that it was you. All right, yeah, I see you on there.
Okay.
All right,
Basically,
we skipped the COVID update knowing that you were on the rest of the agenda, so that portion plus your personnel.
okay, I'm gonna first I'm gonna start out with personnel,
Okay.
kind of. So I need to request to be paid for my vacation, 160 hours of vacation that I was unable to use due to this COVID challenge. I receive another 160 hours, 8/21 to 9/20 during that pay period. I'd be happy to take 160 hours off instead, like right now, starting tomorrow.
I don't blame you on that one.
But I don't foresee anything slowing up right now.
Looks like the president's been set to me that we do that, so I don't see no way unless somebody's got a great idea that we haven't come across, but you know, I do know that you was out on a lot of Saturdays back when it was first started and stuff, and too, so just like Randy was. That's my opinion to the board.
Yeah, we've set precedent on it already.
What, do you know what that total, is your budget?
I,
No, it's not in your budget. It'll be in the.
And I have a question into Scott Lloyd to see if I can use Sparks funding for that, because I believe I could,
Randy did.
but
Well, he hasn't yet,
Well,
but
I
we're
mean,
gonna try to
yeah.
get it reimbursed.
Right.
and right now we have a little bit of that in the health department allocated Sparks funding.
Okay.
So that was my plan, to take it out of there if Scott comes back and says it's doable.
Yeah, and I don't foresee it not being doable.
Certainly would qualify.
But they changed the rules 2 days before they have the form sent in before on us, so. Yeah, I mean, we've set this precedent, and I think the precedent was in hopes to try to be reimbursed by Sparks.
Right.
Not that we were just gonna open it up across the board to every department.
So I do have a question on that though. How do you do that to employees who actually do step up and forfeit their vacations or whatever to do the right thing? How do you then deny them vacation? I mean, how do you, I'm just asking your legalities behind that. How do you do, maybe you should answer that. How do we, as a county, do that?
I'm not sure we do, honestly.
Yeah, see, that's where I came from, right, when it came up from Randy Franks. Legally, I'm thinking, we can't do that. And I would say the same, I don't like the COVID one bit like anybody else. But, I mean, when we have people that step up and actually go for, and do their duty when the call is there, I
Yeah, do it,
personally
Diane.
cannot, what? I personally cannot deny them in good faith their vacation that they forfeited to do their job like that.
And I don't know that we've had anybody, generally, you know, the commission, if there's somebody that's in danger of not being able to take their time off, generally the commission has extended that with the department head, you know, requesting it. We haven't paid it out, but I don't know that there has been anyone other than these two departments necessarily that has lost time.
And I'm not saying anybody
Are
did,
you-
but we're
oh.
debating it so heavily as though maybe there's an option that we could or we couldn't. And so I'm just saying, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see the path to another option. So that's why I don't hesitate on it, because I just think we're stuck. It's what we have to do, it's the right thing to do, is where I come from.
I'm in agreement with you. I just saying the precedents that I believe that we've set is COVID related. Opportunity for Sparks reimbursements to go ahead, and that precedent is to go ahead and pay them out. Not, so so we haven't opened up Pandora's box completely, but we're on the verge.
But just for conversation's sake, let's just imagine we got wiped out by a tornado.
Yeah.
And everybody steps up to the plate, and you're in the same, and you don't have the Sparks to reimburse. We would be in the same boat without the hopes of Sparks. Well, of course, you probably have FEMA. that you could
Disaster
count on.
relief.
You would probably have that. But again, the same situation in essence to take care of our employees would be there.
Yeah. And it would still kind of fall in line with what we're talking about here. Disaster relief is in full.
Well, since you've got that guy over there in the black badge over there.
I see that big black badge.
Says Mr. Law Office over there.
Gives me some authority.
Like to ask you, with people in these kind of positions, we expect them, the sheriff, with law officers, we expect Deidre's because of COVID, COVID's a due deal. Randy Frank, because of his position, I think we heard him say he had to sign checks. In a legal job description, we expect this to happen. And yet, we're talking about their vacation. If they come in the middle of that COVID and say, I gotta have a week's vacation, how can your job description tell us what to do? I'm just asking. I
I
mean,
don't think we can.
No, I mean, I think you take into account the job description itself and what it inherently contains. These people serve in a role that generally by definition requires their presence during an emergency. Well, you're going to have to, first of all, exercise professional judgment. in that case and say, well, I had my vacation scheduled to Montana, and I guess I'm just gonna go and leave you in that position. Well, first of all, you don't expect them to do that. And secondly, the job description would probably run counter to that. However, it's a vested benefit. I mean, basically, we provide this to them. So I think it comes down then to a decision in a personnel format that gets me from here. If you pay it out, or if you extend it, or something so that you honor that element of their benefits, but they likewise honor the job description and what they signed on for.
And what you just said is what we've done. We've always either offered it to later on to come and exercise it out, like Tina was talking about, or we pay it out.
I kind of got a feeling, Deidre, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you get this, this here, and then when this COVID thing's over, you're probably not going to have much vacation left over next year, right?
That is correct.
I'm sure she's got a vacation in her future as soon as she can have one.
I would hope.
So, I don't know, I think the COVID rule, the president we sent earlier, is to go ahead and pay out the 160 hours of vacation time that's unable to be used due to COVID.
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Randy? You out? Okay. 5-0. All right. Thanks for that.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
The other thing I would like to discuss is that Wanda, who is our part-time nurse, she has been working full-time, basically since the August 21st. Is there any way that I can make her full-time back in August and pay for capers? Because I did write that capers into the ELC grant, and they are paying for 16 hours a week, and there's $931.79 actually in capers that was allocated, written in that grant.
no, it sounds like illegal.
Well, also, the problem with that is that the employee's withholding portion, because we would then have to,
Go back and withhold from them.
or the county would have to pay that portion also, if we don't make,
So is that something that could be figured, and I could see if she would be willing to do that?
Well, and does the county pay into their taxes? Do you do that every month, or do you do that every quarter? When you actually put your withholdings to the federal government?
every month.
Every month. So then you would also run into penalties and interest for being late on that. No matter what the reason is, if you're late.
For the
you're late.
capers,
Yeah.
we
Well,
paid
even
the
for the-
taxes.
Yeah, the
She's had
capers.
all
Yeah.
her withholdings taken out.
Right.
So we're
you
fine
would
on
run
all
into
that,
some-
but trying to go back and change an employee's status on capers
Mhm.
is a little bit more complex than that, and you would have penalties, and you would also, basically, if it's an error that you have made, you would have to offer the employee the opportunity to make those contributions, and if they don't, the county would have to do it. And we've been in contact with capers on this situation, just because, not knowing that this request was gonna be made, but on the part-time people, we have to keep a close eye on when they have to be enrolled. And so we have been in contact with them about this particular employee, and if and when they would need to be enrolled, and they had advised us not to do that at this time. Now, if we're saying she was full-time as of that date, it would just complicate things a little bit. There would be some additional costs.
What
Not saying you couldn't do it, but.
on our
Tina, would we be able to do her for this month?
I don't know.
Starting her full-time as of November.
Or even as of October 21st.
Yeah, after the payday, you want to make this payday, right?
Well,
Yes.
that would be this current pay cycle.
Do you foresee her being full-time for here on, or what are you telling us?
Well, I don't foresee her being part-time ever again for probably, I mean, this COVID thing isn't going to go away. It's not going to go away January 1st. It's, looks like it's going to continue.
And exactly what is she doing?
She does the immunization clinics, which having her come do those, she is at the office, and therefore we do immunizations. We have been doing them on Mondays, Thursdays. We have been doing them extra days other than Wednesdays. So she is in charge of the immunizations, the VFC program. She's in charge of the, she's been doing the case investigations, which have obviously been increased.
Yeah.
I don't think, as far as on the HR side, it's not a problem to start at October 21 if the board approves that.
I would like to add that she is working weekends too.
I would honestly prefer to take this up another week to allow time for staff review, just to make sure we've thoroughly thought this through.
So is the question before us right now is just to take her from part-time now over to full-time starting now? Is that the question before us?
Well, there's parts, what I'm hearing is there's parts of the grant that were allocated for capers.
Right.
So I think you gotta use that money for what you said you were gonna use it for. So is there, just in our previous decision, the payout of vacation time, is capers built on a 40-hour week, or is it built on your full hours put in? Is it based on your paycheck amount?
It's based on wages, and there are different rules depending on when you became a member of capers, as far as whether leave payouts are included in the wages for capers or not.
So would there be an increase in capers on what we just voted on for Deidre yourself?
I would have to check.
Okay, because so then some of that money could be used for capers in that way. Because if we got to pay it out because she had more payroll, it will still get paid to capers.
So is it wise to let Tina have some time to look at this?
I think so. I think it needs to be reviewed a little bit. Dave looked like he was leaning forward to say something, but nope, shaking his head.
Okay, so I will look in as far as the capers for my vacation. If that fits under the Sparks, I'll put the capers plus vacation hours under that. And then I know that Wanda's capers is covered under the ELC. Now, we may not use all that, so because depending on when she starts getting capers, then what I'm hearing you say is maybe take some of my capers out of the ELC.
Well, I guess we need to know is on that grant, is it hard and fast the way you proposed it, or is it have some more like the Sparks where you can have a little bit of flexibility on moving it around?
What I would have to do is do a budget maintenance, and then the state has to basically approve it.
Yeah, right.
My question is to you, and it was just brought up there, vacation pay that we're gonna pay extra. Are we gonna pay capers on that money?
It depends on the person's hire date, so I'm gonna have to check on that.
No, I'm going back to Deidre's now.
Yeah, and that's what she's.
Right.
Yes, I believe Capers is paid on that, because if I were taking it off, Capers is paid on it.
Yes, then, but you're also working 12 months out of the year, and our budget's set for 12 months out of the year.
I'm gonna have to check on the
Yeah.
specifics, because sometimes when we pay leave, we don't take capers out. It depends on the membership date of the individual, because the rules were changed. Capers has changed several times, and
Okay.
so I would have to verify
Yeah.
which category
Yeah.
it falls into.
I can understand that. I mean, I'm okay with the pay, and I'm okay, but so this person, if it was Deidre, she's got a whole month, so she would have 13 months she would gain in the year of 20, or whatever year, she's gonna gain 13 months, unless she takes it off. Or gonna gain 1 month, be 13.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, 13 months of pay.
yeah. I don't mind paying the pay, but now we're paying for retirement too.
I hear you.
Yeah, so that's something that I haven't thought of till we discussed it. Thank you.
And I was just getting at, if we have to pay it anyway, and it's set aside for capers, then we can use out of that grant to cover that. If we're bound to do it anyway, and it's able to be flexible.
Right, yeah, we're bound to, yeah.
So yeah, I would feel more comfortable with some more review.
Lot of questions.
Also, once you make someone full-time, then they're also eligible for all of the other
Yes.
insurance and benefits, and so we would have to make that offer as a full-time person, so.
Right, and I'm not sure that she would want the health insurance, because I think she gets that elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we should drag this on, because we probably need to actually
Right.
activate it for this month if we're going to do it, so we can't let it go past November.
Right.
Or past the next payday, which would be November, so. So we need to take this back up
Next week.
next week.
Okay, so moving on to the COVID update. Right now, well, actually about 2 hours ago, we were at 199 positive confirmed cases, 87 probable cases, 94 active cases, and currently 4 hospitalizations. The health department continues to turn over non-household contacts to KDHE for contact outreach and monitoring. And we have now begun to turn positive cases to KDHE on the weekends and also days when the health department is closed. We've added that request and it's been honored. However, this weekend we found that when KDHE becomes overwhelmed, they turn those cases back to us. So what this does is that causes a bit of delay in data collection, and the computation of the numbers become more difficult. So therefore, the press releases and the dashboard, how important do you feel that is right now? Because keep in mind, the health department only has 2 full-time employees, myself as the director, the health officer, and the nurse. 2 part-time nurses, well, Wanda is basically full-time and overtime. The other part-time nurse who has another job is helping us out immensely. And then we do have another part-time nurse who helps us on weekends because she has a full-time weekday job. And then the other full-time as a business is our receptionist, and then we have our business manager who is part-time but has been filling in while our receptionist was on vacation. So just keep that in mind. It's been hard for us to, and it's becoming increasingly harder for us to keep up with the press releases and the dashboard. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Deidre, I think that the dashboard is, very important just for the matter of transparency. I mean, I know it's a stretch to get things done, and as you mentioned, this contact tracing where people won't give you the names of their contacts, I didn't realize that was going to become such an issue.
Yes, that has been quite an issue. And the other issue that we're facing is we're getting a lot of calls from contacts who we have sent up to the state, but they may not have been called yet by the state. And so whenever we started sending stuff up to the state, that does have a little bit, adds a little layer into the work and the process. If we could just continue with the dashboard, that would help. I know one of the papers had requested that we go with the press release because that tells that we have kind of redone that, but they would like to know the ages and the sex, whether they're male or female. However, at this point, it's been reported, or KDHE is doing a better job on getting their reporting more up to date, and you're welcome to go into KDHE. I know it's a bit of a journey into their website, but they do report ages and sex under there. So would you be comfortable if we just did the dashboard?
Deidre, what are the elements that you provide the KDHE? Is it just the active cases and current hospitalizations, or?
What we do is if someone gets tested and they're positive, we often are either called by a healthcare provider or a provider that has done the testing, identifying they have a positive case, or we get our cases when they get dumped in through Quest or LabCorp, the private labs that are using. So the nurses on the weekends are checking that twice a day to see if any new cases have populated. We have one of the nurses has been coming down here checking for faxes. When it's not her weekend, I send those to KDHE, and then from that we contact the positive person. Then that person, we go through a questionnaire. They identify their contacts. If they are household contacts, we will keep them and monitor them. If they are non-household contacts, we get their name, date of birth, phone number, and when they were possibly exposed, the date of disposition. That all goes up to KDHE. KDHE has gotten, as you see, Kansas numbers have been increasing, and so they send them to a contact tracer who gets in touch with that contact of a positive case.
Okay, yeah, Deidre, my question was hopefully a little more simpler than that. It was more tailored to what information are you providing through the dashboard or whatever that you can't pull from KDHE? Is it just active cases or?
Yes, the
Okay.
active cases doesn't show up. The hospitalizations, it's a lag, quite of a lag time. And we could easily put that on there because we do know the hospitalizations. Now, if someone is dismissed from the time that our nurse makes the contact with the positive till, like, we have started not contacting them daily, so they may have been dismissed within that time frame, and we may not have caught it, but by this,
So
down
what
the road, we'll.
What I'm getting at, Deidre, is in an effort for transparency, if it can be pulled from KDHE, but we can do the extra mile and provide something like the active cases, then I think that still needs to remain.
Okay.
Anything extra that we can provide the public that they can't get from KDHE would be priority to me.
And so I think our dashboard would still contain the confirmed cases, that's the PCR cases, the probable cases, which are the antigen tests, or those who are a close contact with symptoms. And then we have the number of tests and the number of negative tests and the number of hospitalizations and the active.
Yeah.
So we would still continue that and put those out like at 4 o'clock daily.
So Deidre, I have a different type of question for you. We've been doing this contact thing now for quite some time. And so I'm wondering, as I'm looking around as to what's happened in our county and other counties and things like that, where do you have statistics or do you have any numbers as to the effectiveness of this contact information? And my point to that is, if you have somebody who is tested positive and then you contact, well, I don't know how many people you contact, 5, 10 people, whatever it is, and you quarantine those people, do you have any numbers as being a contact that actually then become an active case? And I know that that goes both ways in some, but I know a lot of people that have been quarantined just because Joe Blow or whatever it is became active, and then they're out of work for a week or their life stops for a week and they never get it. So I'm just wondering the effectiveness of this contact quarantine process that we've been going through now for months. Do you have any real numbers to support that?
I think, Diane, there's a lot of things that play into that. I've been on conference calls with KDHE or their webinars, and at one point they said 18% of contacts come down with it, and then on one of the calls they said 48%. Here is the kind of where I don't know if you can really go with those numbers because people aren't telling us their contacts. We aren't identifying all contacts, and also a lot of times those contacts are not following the guidance. So I don't know that we can get a real accurate number. Now, household, they seem to think that 53% of household contacts come down with it.
So if somebody in a household comes down with it though, then that automatically quarantines the spouse and keeps the kids out of school and all that other stuff, right?
Right. If someone in the household is positive, and this is kind of where I think people get frustrated, if a spouse is positive or a parent, then the other household contacts have to start their quarantine 14 days after the positive contact gets released, as
What?
long as they stay in the same household.
Yeah.
So therefore, you could possibly be in quarantine for 24 days.
Well, that's wild. So, I guess my next question is, you're saying that people don't like to give their, contact information out. If, you know, if I was, I don't know, at a family picnic or something and somebody come down and they don't wanna tell, I'm almost thinking, and this is just me thinking, and then of course, even from what other counties are experiencing, because I know even up in Dickinson County, they're having quite a riot up there with people who are really fighting some of these procedures that we've been going through for so long. But I guess I'm asking you, do you think that maybe part of this is the reason why people don't want to release a lot of their contacts is because, well, you tell me. What do you think
I
the reason
think
is?
that is, I think they don't want to be the one to cause someone else. You know, they don't want to be identified. I've actually contacted the state and asked them if we can just focus on the cases, the positive case. So, but so far they haven't agreed to that.
And are they also, this will be my final question, but is anybody actually, and we discussed this a couple times in the commission meeting, some of the other consequences to these lockdowns, or shall we say these quarantines and all this type of stuff, is the social, the emotional, the mental, the financial burdens that are being placed on families. Are we tracking any of that or considering any of that as we go forward? Or even in the past?
I think there's a lot of, I think they're starting to do more the mental aspect of it and the behavioral aspect of it. What we're seeing is that when it's in a business, if there's close contact within that business, that produces, more cases. We're encouraging businesses to have their own plan, decide what they're going to do, where they're going to refer their individuals, make it comfortable for individuals to report illness. Right now, we're seeing a lot of them are just having runny noses, allergy-like symptoms. And I'm going to tell you, I think, honestly, the schools, I think, are probably one of the safest places to be, because most schools in the county have their students wearing masks, and what we're seeing is it's the parents or it's the caregivers, because they're, they may work in another county. There's a lot of events going on, a lot of social gatherings, and I think that's where it's coming from. I don't really think that it's coming from the schools.
And I would almost say probably because the children have very good immune systems. And one thought, I'll ask the commission, do you know that Google tracks you for COVID-19? It's on my phone, yeah. Google is tracking. Now, I don't know if all that is in place yet, but I looked and I was told to go to my phone and look, and right there it is on my last update that Google did on its own. Now it's COVID-19 tracking, right there on your phone. Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Now, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can come down after the meeting and show you.
Deidre, there's one thing that I do need from you, and there's been a lot of talk about a new quarantine for 24 days. And from my take on it, I'm just picking up that may be just a business protocol, and it's getting shared to the public that is from KDHE, and I don't believe that's correct. And I just want you to clear that up.
What KDHE recommends that if you have 2 household members and one is positive, if that the other household member actually moves out for those 10 days while the positive is sick or in isolation, then we start counting on the day that the last exposure was, and we go for 14 days.
Okay.
If they don't move out of the household, then it is the 24 days. And I can send you the quarantine link, or if Tina wants to pull it up, we can pull it up for you on the KDHE website.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to make sure it came officially from our health director. That way people understand that the quarantine is only 14 days.
The quarantine is only 14 days from the date of your last exposure to a positive.
And the only way it goes 24 is if potentially the person's last day of symptom is on day 7, correct? And then they would start their 14. That would get it to it.
They will start. A positive case is in isolation for a minimum of 10 days.
10 days. So after the 10th day, they would start theirs.
Right.
And you said that a lot of what you're seeing is runny noses and common cold symptoms.
Allergy-like symptoms, yes. Now we have started to see some fevers, and which is interesting because at the beginning, kind of in the winter months, and like, you know, up in Johnson County and some of those hard hit at the very beginning of this, there was fever. So it's been interesting to see some of the symptoms that seem to be more common.
Deidre, I have a question. I'm not a professional by any means, but you know, we talk about these PCR tests and antigen tests, and I had a question that came to me from an individual that supposedly has been doing some studies on this, and they say that PCR test is a molecular test. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And they're saying that there's a lot of positives coming out of these PCR tests that are common colds or a regular flu, but they will test positive for COVID because of the molecular component. Has there been any talk of that?
I think what the molecular or the PCR testing that is being done is a lot more sensitive than the antigen test. And I am not a super on all the lab. I'm not a guru on that, but I can tell you most of the positives that we get, all of the positives, I would believe they're probably positive.
Deidre?
Yes.
This is Randy. I've got a phone call from someone in Texas, former resident of our city of Peabody, and they are very upset with something on, and I don't know that it's on there because I have not called in. Do we, besides the COVID awareness, do we go on and say something about that the common cold and the flu deal is worse than the COVID virus? Is there something on our website through Marion County Health Department
That says that?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I will check with, do you know where it's at? I don't post on the website. I have someone in charge of that, and I can sure check.
Oh, I have not, but
We
this person
did.
is very avid, and they've called twice yesterday and once the day before.
On Facebook, is that?
No, they said they got it off the Marion County website. But they're Facebooking my wife and telling her, wanting to make sure I got this message to ask you.
Okay, is there any way you could send that to me so I could figure out where it is? Because the only thing I'm aware of that was posted was the difference between colds, allergies, that.
And I'm wondering if that's not it, is that what Kent was sort of talking about, molecular and stuff like that? I'm just wondering if that's not what this person was taking. But anyway, down there where they're at, COVID is very active, and they're seeing a lot down there in the part of Texas they're in, so. So that's
Okay.
the reason why they're so upset with us saying something like that.
I will try to find out what's on the Marion County website and then also our Facebook.
And I'll do a
I
little
will
more
look in-
checking. I'll see if I can't get her phone number and call her directly and see, get her.
Send something to me, that
Yeah.
would be great.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to enter into executive session for employee performance for 10 minutes with Brad and Tina.
No objections? All right. Just debating on whether or not let's just do it now. So I'll move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel matters and non-elected personnel, personal performance for a matter of 10 minutes with the board, Brad and Tina, Deidre, pursuant to KSA 75-4319B.
Second.
Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, how long did you say?
Donna?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yes, yes, Deidre.
How do I do this? Do I just stay on?
Nope,
No, there'll be a link.
I'll have to, it's gonna take me a minute to get that set up and sent out,
Oh,
so.
okay.
Sorry, I wasn't
All right,
expecting
so-
that, so
Do,
I'll email you, Deidre.
Okay, thank
we're in
you.
for 10 minutes, Deidre, so if we need more, we'll just have to go for more.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
And the cameras. I can get that, I'll get this to work.
This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. Hello, Janine, how are you? Fine, it's Monday. Great.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. This time, I think I need to make a directive that Deidre be allowed to use Marcy for the short term at her disposal to get through some of these spiked situations in our area.
I'd advise for 2 weeks to start with, and we'll reconsider at the end of 2 weeks or so, see how.
I'm good with making that part of the directive.
That's what I'd like to see.
Do we need anything more formal so that for you, Deidre, or we?
I think that should work.
If there's any complications, just get a hold of one of us and we'll make it straight.
I think that the chairman needs to make the phone call to the director of that, and let both sides know that this is what was decided in the commission.
Okay. I will
Good with it.
make sure I inform emergency management that her assistance is needed in the health department for the short term.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for me?
No, no, you're taken care of. I got the one taken care of that I needed to you. Thank you. I'll get with you, Deidre, on.
Okay, that'd be great, thanks.
All right, thank you, Deidre. All right. So, sorry, Janine. Just needed to clear up a thing.
I'm sure she does need extra help.
All right, take her away.
Okay, which do you want to do, the reports or the sparks?
Reports first and then Sparks maybe? I mean, that's how it is in the packet, so
Okay.
if that's okay.
I'm
That
okay
works
with-
for me.
As long as we handle everything.
I'm not sure which order I have them in the packet, but I did include the reconciliation of the 2019 tax roll. And I'm thrilled to report that our delinquency factor is 3%.
Well, you said that was last month.
Huh?
That's what you said last month.
Well, this is
It didn't get no
official.
better.
I figured it every way I could. But that is,
Yeah.
people of Marion County just really came through, so. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
See, you struggled with 6 cents there.
Huh?
See, you struggled with 6 cents there.
Oh, I did.
It's always them little numbers that really tick you off.
Well, and when the tax roll is figured, it's figured by district. When I reconcile it by parcel.
Yeah.
So I've hunted everywhere I can find the 6 cents and I can't.
I've had 10 cents take me about 3 days to figure out where it's at.
Yeah. But okay, the first time we ran the abstract and the first report I ran, it was already off 6 cents. So I just carried it through the whole year looking for it, so.
You're gonna have to write it off one of these days.
Well, last year it was 5 cents, so I was upset that it went up, so. And then our monthly report of funds, they look really good, but we gotta remember that there's Sparks money that shows up in that balance.
Yeah, that was my question is right now, it's fine, but what about next year when we come back and, well, look what we had last year at this, you know? And remembering the Sparks money is sitting in our accounts.
Yeah, I guess I should show the amount of Sparks funds. I could go back and do that.
Well, it's, and this one, it's checking accounts down here, is anyhow on it, and I didn't know.
Yeah, that is the Sparks funds, so.
It might be best to delegate that out
Yeah.
going forward. I mean, to keep the figure, but to keep it out of the total funds.
Yeah, that way you don't have to remember, kinda like when taxes went up to 1 year, or whatever, it was based, I gotta learn from these other guys that it was based on the oil pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
it's just,
Yeah, I can just carry that as a extra item.
Line item or something, yeah.
And that way we'd have more of a true picture, because it is clouding the issue.
yeah.
I don't want anybody coming in as a new council member or anything thinking that if we got more money, we've got.
Yeah. Yeah, I will do that. I'll just go back and add a column here and show the Sparks funds below.
That'd be cool, thank you.
That would be easy enough to do. Of course, the next one I turn in
Be gone.
will be gone, so. But I will still go back and show that on my quarterly report. And you can see on the interest that we were doing great guns to begin with, and we're down to 0.08 for 6 months, so. And other than the vehicle report, which is pretty self-explanatory. Do you have any questions on any of that?
Does it pay to bid anymore?
Would it do any good?
Well, I'm not sure at this point, because rates have gotten so low.
Yes,
I mean,
every-
it was an
all of it.
advantage to us to have a bid process in
Yes.
when rates were kinda going up.
Yes.
Now we're flat again.
And the banks have been real good about giving us over the state rate, which is, you know,
Yeah, I'd say as long as you can get, if you can get state rate or better, why, not much use in bidding.
no. That one.
Unless there's a bank that's got a liquidity crunch. Right now, I don't think very many of them do.
Most of them are cash ready. They're ready to loan money any which way they can.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
All right.
We'll move on to the Sparks. Do you have the report from Tina?
Yeah, it was emailed out to everybody, I believe.
Okay.
It's large, and I
Yeah.
can't convert it to a PDF easily, so I just sent you
It's-
the Excel sheet.
It's pretty well broke out based on each municipality and school district, nonprofit.
And this does require official board approval, and this needs to be reported to the state by tomorrow.
Right, so as soon as you guys have,
Are we well within what we, I guess what our recommendation from Sparks was as far as these dollar figures?
well, I think the county's gonna be in trouble for the amount, but,
What does that mean?
huh?
What does that mean? That's
I think there's gonna be more spending than we had anticipated we would be doing, but.
That means that any extra funds that aren't gonna be spent by those other agencies probably need to be delegated back to the county to cover our costs. Because we're gonna have judicial expenses coming, we have some other things. And the amount that the committee actually reserved for the county expenses was not large.
Right.
So is there wiggle room with the money that's left to add the juvenile detention center? If they were to present us with some COVID expenses, since that does come back onto the county?
No, actually what we're talking about is if we don't figure out some money coming back to us, we're gonna be in the hole.
Right.
So there's nothing left.
Okay, so you answered my question, but gave me some extra information, right?
I hope. I don't know.
So you're telling me no. So what happens if the juvenile detention actually is very legitimate? And can we deny them?
They're gonna bill us
Yeah.
regardless.
We're gonna end up paying it regardless.
Okay.
So, well, with that factored in, is there any chance, and it's gotta be done tomorrow. Never mind. I was hoping, the Sparks team could figure out where.
Well, we still have time. I mean,
Yes.
we still have a little bit of time, and,
We do have, we don't know how much of everything that's been allocated will be used, so. And that's what Tina and I were talking about, that some of those funds that are not used, we'll probably need to pull back for the
How
county.
quickly?
for the county use.
How
right.
quickly are we gonna know that?
Well, I think we're gonna have to start checking with some of these agencies pretty
Mhm.
quickly to see if, what they're,
I think we have I'm not sure what the date is, but we do have dates set in stone for them.
Did you send that one out to us?
yes, it's different tabs at the bottom. This is the
There's tabs at the
summary.
bottom.
Okay, I missed it then. 'Cause-
I mean, everybody's within the realm of what they've been approved for. There are probably, like we've mentioned before, I bet a lot of the small cities will not use their allocation. Those are things we could be checking on now. And,
What about, pulled back, when we reallocated that to, didn't we? We pulled back on that building.
That was reallocated to the business and nonprofit grants.
Okay. And all of that has been expensed.
It has not been expensed yet, but it has been approved and the awards made. And so right now, what the process is all of those that have been approved for nonprofit or for business grants are submitting all of their documentation to the committee, which is being then it's going to the accounting firm, and they are actually going through and verifying that they have all the parts and pieces that are required, that they have all the documentation in place. And then when they're approved to pay, they're going to be sending me a list of who's approved to pay. And I had mentioned to them we would need those on weekly by Thursday and to have an approval for the next commission meeting. So that's kind of how we're going to move forward as far as getting those approved items paid out quickly.
Okay. So we need to keep in mind,
Right.
is there a ballpark figure? And I don't have to have it today. I just ballpark figure
That's what
we
I'm,
need to.
you should see my desk. That's what I'm working on right now.
What we need to be looking for at the end of it. And then also to Diane's point,
Yes.
juvenile, I mean, if there's possibility of getting all that into one.
And we have a request. Are we finished with that, or shall I go ahead with?
Well, I think we need official action on this, right?
To approve it, yes, for submission.
And it's,
Before we do that, I have some discussion here. Page 1 on the expenses, the first one you brought up,
For the county expenses or the external?
the 197,000 be expensive external, yeah.
Okay,
Can you
Yeah.
enlarge that?
I can when I know what the question is.
Okay, I'm just looking at dollars spent for who and stuff like that. We spent a lot of money in Hillsborough, Kansas for the old hospital. I mean,
And
just, to me, it's absurd the amount of money we've spent. I don't know how long it's gonna be used, whether it's being used, period. Just go down through the list there. Your Elcon Services, they don't have very much there, but Johnson Controls, a lot of the building needs and things, well, we just rebuilt that. I mean,
And that was for the project for the quarantine for the
Yeah,
college, and
quarantine
that went
stuff.
under the public health project.
yeah, and so you can go back to Tabor College, they've got a bunch of it up there. I don't know what we've spent total, if you wanna add it all together. It's quite a bit.
On that project.
Yeah, on that project there. And then we have wages up here for Larry Payne and Ben Skekety and stuff like that. I don't know, I just see a lot of money being spent one way when I live in the county and people live in the north end of the county, and I don't see very much being spent in that
I
area.
don't either, but I'll.
And it's a fine deal if you want to look at this deal, but I'm not very happy with it. And so I think it's, some of it was fine, COVID, but there's a lot of things there. That's just one item. The second item that I want to bring up is this was in the Abilene Reflector Chronicle, and this is what's going on in Dickinson County up there right now. I'm going to read this. This is about spending money. You just was talked about that we was rejected on a building for stuff for us. Let's see, county also distributed money to Central Kansas Mental Health to help organization deal with mental health issues and things about like the juvenile detection. Any money remaining will go to Dickinson County, which plans to use it for several projects. Purchases a new COVID-equipped ambulance complete with UV lighting, extra disinfecting, and capabilities and other enhancements. That's not going to be cheap. A special building at the county yard to house personal protective equipment, emergency vehicles, and items unique to COVID. Not very cheap. I haven't talked to Brad yet to find out what kind of dollars we're spending, but yet we got turned down.
And that's a large building because they're talking about vehicles, houses.
Yeah,
I mean,
not a big garage.
we were just looking at
The single car garage, yes.
That could be all the difference though. That could be because they're not seeing this as being,
Well,
as a storage shed versus an actual facility.
the guidance given on those capital projects was it should not be a temporary, a permanent solution for a temporary problem, is what they gave. And so if they are getting approval from the state for that, they must, I mean, they're gonna have to, I don't know what their documentation is.
Well-
We did get the 2 portable ventilators for our ambulance, and that's what was requested by our EMS. And so,
Right.
I don't know what, you know, what
Someone
their
might-
process will be.
I'll go one more. Someone might ask how that's related to COVID. Holman said, explain the facility is an integral part of our county's emergency operation plan as emergency shelter, including during an ice storm and things such in December 7th. So I don't know. I haven't talked to Brad, but there's things going on a little bit different than what we're seeing out here. And it's sort of,
They're spending money just because they can.
well, yeah,
Well, I have to think
but they're gonna do it, and it's gonna come back for a long term for the good of the county. And that's what, we have a building sort of designed over there that would come back for the long term of the county. And I don't expect to pay for the whole thing, but a part of it for this COVID. That's what I would take and do with some of the money, is spend just a part of it. The county would still have to kick in some and help build the rest of it. But a part of it would be determined for this type stuff.
So the whole caveat of that is, these were supposed to be COVID-related temporary fixed items.
Right.
Right.
But from what we're seeing,
So
the rules are
guidance,
getting bent a little bit, and like you said,
the guidance given also
The guidance.
indicated that the building, or whatever the project is, it needs to be in use by the end of the year. So I don't know how they're gonna have a building built and do all that by the end of the year, so
And in
maybe that
use.
they
It
do
has to
or
not.
be
even
built
order an
and in
ambulance and
use.
get it before.
Yeah,
the
it has to
end
be
of the
in
year.
use, so I don't know that they're gonna be able to accomplish all
The
that.
ambulance could go back onto a part of receiving goods. I mean, if they get backlogged, they get allowed to go out. So if they're behind based on supply chain, they are allowed. I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
The building, however, they may be just buying the building and then paying the erection costs later.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, I'd like to play the game fair with everybody, and that's why the first one caught me was how much we've spent on that hospital over there, and that's gonna be there forever. So it's no different than us in building forever. And I just really would, I know our crew's done a great job. I'm not knocking that, because they took a lot of time and a lot of hard work. And maybe we didn't give a good enough guidance. Maybe we didn't know the guidance ourselves, how to give it to get everything that we possibly needed for Marion County. So thank you for the time. I'm just bringing up some points that need to be discussed.
And one thing to be said, oh,
Go
excuse
ahead,
me,
go ahead.
the game keeps changing
Yes.
as we go.
Yes.
That's true.
And it's just been
So
unbelievable.
I'm sorry, I wonder if it's possible, because I scanned through all of that, and that's a lot of lines, a lot of money, and it's detailed, but yet it's not very detailed to where you could just look at it and see exactly where it's gonna go. And so, just personally, I would like to just have a special meeting to where we could sit down and go line by line, so we all understand exactly where it's going. I know that's a lot to ask, but this is a lot of money. And I think we should all fully understand it before we approve it.
Well, and one thing to keep in mind too is this goes all the way back to the beginning, I believe.
Understand.
You've already approved
Some of it.
Mhm.
Some of
the
it.
majority of this.
Understand.
in
And
the
each
reports.
break is the next batch.
So what you would have to approve now would be from 10-6 on, I believe.
Okay, so my question is, even though what you just said, and I fully understand what you're saying, let's just assume, I'll pick some stupid little example here, but let's just assume this agency ordered 2,000 masks, but maybe we approved 1,000 masks on the first batch, or that same agency. Would we not then have the opportunity to pare back a little bit if it looks like we're culminating a lot? Or, I mean, would that, just because it's been approved already?
The plan that you approved for direct aid, you could potentially ask the committee to make a change, but that was based on, I believe it was based on population, and so they used a formula to allocate those direct aid dollars. So some places aren't gonna use it, some places are, and The direct aid plan itself is how you allocated those, and that approval was given back in September. So what they have been doing is based on the amount that they were awarded, they're providing the documentation of the purchases that they've made within the parameters that were set back in September. So I'm not saying you can't change the direct aid plan, but.
Well, okay, I got that, but I was just saying that to oversee it, and maybe like what
That-
Randy brought some fine points out that I didn't really pay much attention to. And so it would be nice to go back and revisit that and discuss it and see, is this what we want? Before we, and then go on through the rest. I don't know, I'm just saying, it's a lot of money to just turn our backs and say, yeah, we're gonna approve it.
And talking about this stuff, don't we also have a request that Randy's just made for more masks and things that we just had today?
No.
He turned in
what he spent,
Bill-
and that was on his
Bill's a
PPE.
billing.
The PPE portion was a different amount. That was 90,000.
It was, well, that included the building, so it should be 60 something.
Right.
Okay.
So he's still going through those funds.
My point is that I'm hearing complaints that they're not being dispersed except for certain groups, and so I think we need to see where that group is, where those stuff's being dispersed at, and instead of make sure that everybody's getting availability to them and things like that, to the masks and stuff. If there's more coming in, that's not right, or that was just the expense part of it already that he's bought.
I don't know what you're referring to. I apparently didn't get it, so, or I haven't seen it, so, but as far as what's on this report, these are expenses that you've previously approved in the plan. This is it compiled on the report for you to see. We need an approval to be able to submit this report to the state, and if we do not submit the report to the state, no one will receive their reimbursements, including the county.
Right.
So the report needs to go. If there's something that you want to change right on the direct aid plan moving forward, then I think you're gonna have a joint meeting with the task force. You know, they have spent a lot of time to try to get it to a level where they, and you all have approved it, so if there's changes now or questions, perhaps maybe we need to schedule a meeting together. I don't know what you would like to do on that, but.
I've got one, Brad, I seen the one the other day, it was Elcon, and I didn't see the second one that you pointed out, so.
Yeah, but they're not very big, but I'm just.
Yeah, but as far as where I go about this, since these are reimbursements, are they, I like to make sure that I'm as transparent as
Yes,
possible
you've
with
got to.
Elcon, so I just.
You've got to.
Probably want to vote on the, well, can they vote on something?
I don't even, I mean, we get them as a group, and they just tell us the amount to pay to each agency.
Mhm.
All of the detail information is with the accounting firm, and we will get all of that at the end. They're accumulating everything. So
Well-
if it's for another agency, I mean, we show it on the report here, but this report has already been approved once. So I don't even know where so we would start at the break here. So I think that may have been on the last report, actually.
If it's not on here, then it's moved.
So
There's
we
direct remuneration.
we probably started American Fire Sprinkler at that line. Tina? is
Well,
that that's the current?
well, that's Hillsborough. And see, they're all at the,
Oh, that's Hillsborough City, yes.
yeah, and Marion. Okay, so I guess I need to know where you're looking.
All right, so they are.
Okay,
Higher
Elcon was
education.
917.
Video? Do you know what
Elcon was
these are?
917 on Tabor College.
Janine?
Yeah.
So that would have been
Do
on
you
the
know
last
what all
report.
those are, like Sweetwater
And then
Video, or
there's
what the
one
sprinkler
on-
systems are for?
Line
We
100.
probably have all the documentation, because
101.
we have copies of all invoices and what they're for.
And that would be
I'm
on this
kinda wondering
report.
what an American Fire Sprinkler.
For the 133.50.
No.
I know I'm making a big deal out of
It's dumb.
$150, but still, it's.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the amount, it's just how what it represents. If it's direct remuneration for the benefit of yourself,
Yeah.
as part of Elcon, then yeah, you should not just recuse yourself, you still have a quorum to approve.
So can anybody answer me what the deal is with
Yeah.
the American Fire Sprinkler? I see they have it on there, and I'm trying to, I don't know.
Two different
the-
lines.
Two
10-6.
different lines, yeah.
Two
What
different
does,
times.
what does the sprinkler system have to do with COVID? I would like to,
Well, they had to update that in order to be able to use it
To occupy
as
it.
for quarantine, right?
Yeah, the sprinkler
This is-
system had to be in play.
This is called housing support. That's how it's listed on the report. It's-
It all sounded good to start with, and then when you get down to see this, I thank somebody for, Tina, you especially, for putting this out there like this, because you see everything that's going on, you see, it's a very good view of what we've done, and things like that, but it's just, you know, it's part of it, and we approved some of it, we approved the building and things like that, but we didn't know we was gonna spend, if you go back up into Tabor College, back up in there, there's some of that up in there still for that
they
building.
got buku money.
And stuff, and so, transparency, that's all it is. And, I'm ready to vote for it and get it moving, because I know we're down to the time crunch. But maybe we need something to move forward here to the rest of this money. This is only 197, I think is what we're at right now. And we've still got quite a bit, by the end of November, or the end of, did we say the end of November, or when would we put the deadline on that?
I think it's sometime early December.
Early December, okay, the 3rd or something.
Yeah, there's only a few more weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all spent, used by December 31st.
It's all gotta be spent. Dave was saying
Right.
it's got.
We was trying to get it done early so we could okay it and be ready to get it done, Dave, I think.
And I think we all
December 1st.
understood going in
He's saying December 1st.
that, you know, the educational facilities were gonna require a lot of money
That's where the majority went.
for the kids to be in school, so.
Yeah, that was the bottom
And I
line.
think it come down to what, 300 per
Was that for all
per
the
cap.
schools or just
Yeah.
Tabor? All the schools throughout the county?
Not
All the
Tabor wasn't
schools.
part of that. We're talking about the USDA schools.
And all they,
Down at the
I
bottom
see all
there,
that,
yeah.
yes. Okay. And how much did Tabor itself get? Is it on this schedule?
There was one county health project through Tabor, which is the COVID testing lab, and that was $141,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they did get they were approved a
A nonprofit.
profit grant, and I don't know the amount on that. That was on that list that she approved previously, so that's a
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah. I'm thinking that was a pretty big sum too, if I remember right. I don't know what it
So
was.
here's your K-12. You had, you know, all 5 of the school districts here.
Right.
And that's what a couple of these payments are for today, is for their expenses.
Now, if they don't have them approved today, are they shut out?
No,
No.
no, they're still submitting their expenses right now to the accounting firm.
Right.
And what comes to you has already been vetted by the accounting firm. And so they're looking at their proposed expenditures, their documentation, and if there's anything that's not allowed, they're disallowing it. And then, so what we're paying today is paying out the payments that have been approved by the accounting firm based on the approved plan. And then also our county's reimbursement, same thing there. And they disallowed us a portion of our radios for the trailer because it had a prorated amount for maintenance for the whole year, and they only allow it through the end of the year, so our amount was reduced slightly.
They're very
They're
careful.
really good about checking all those
They
things.
have caught things like that, you know,
Yeah.
I've been very impressed.
I mean, I know this whole big process is big and overwhelming and confusing, and especially when when you have designated a group to take care of it and you're not in the midst of it. So I understand that it's difficult to jump into it and know
It is.
exactly where
It is.
everything is.
No,
Well, it's just like Randy, it's a little disheartening when you read a local publication, they're saying they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, and
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much Dickinson County got, but I know that
That was-
Riley County got 16 million.
They got based on population too. I mean, that's how I got this.
Yeah,
breakdown.
that's-
It was based on
3.6
population.
in Dixon County,
3.6. okay.
3.6
I'm
million.
ready to move.
All right. So, again, need to make a motion, right, for the reimbursement, reconciliation report.
Yeah, this is for the county, let's see. CRF County Expense Reporting Document, and that covers the reimbursements and direct aid payments. I think it's called the CRF County Expense Reporting Document.
I guess, I don't know, if it's reimbursement, well, I need to abstain, I guess. You know, it's probably in my best interest, so, somebody else's. Or I can make the motion to still abstain from it, but no, that's probably not wise.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the, what was that?
CRF County Expense Reporting Document.
CRF County Expense Reporting Document.
That's why I couldn't remember that. Second.
Motion by Kent, second by Randy. Any other discussion?
I'd like to make sure that before we approve anything else, that somehow we get a little bit more of an advance as to what the individual expenditures will be. Whether it be a meeting, like you said, or something.
I know it's hard to
I
get
know
this
it's
all
hard,
compiled.
but that's a lot of money that we
And
allocated there.
everything
We don't
keeps coming
fully
down to the
understand
wire.
it and know it.
Yeah, I agree, I know as tight as some of this stuff has been, I think they're lucky to get it turned in on time.
Jonah,
Yeah,
this has all been approved, by the accountants and the state. You can't make any changes to this, so we have to move on. And there's gonna be some excess money in December that we'll have to do something with. We'll get kicked out. But we need to approve this and go on.
Saying we can't make any changes, is that
Not,
what you said?
not to this, because it's gotta be,
Right, but going forward, we could.
we could do something we've left yet.
That's what I was asking.
my guess is I would suggest to sit in with some of the Sparks meetings,
That's
if you
what I
wanna
was
do
gonna
that.
That would be
suggest,
awesome.
because
Rather than waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
Try to see it come up there before it comes to here. And I've sat in a couple, but that's it.
But there, again, we're nobody sitting there. We're just calling for our own information. And we all have to agree to give them a directive.
Yeah, and they have taken my public comments. I mean,
Well, right,
so,
right.
And I've seen the wheels turn and then factor things, but ultimately it comes down to them for their recommendation to us, so.
What happens if we don't like your comments on
That's fine. They don't like my comments either, so they don't do anything.
Well, the same thing, what happens if we don't like their recommendation to us? That's where we're at right now.
Well, and right
Then what
now,
happens?
right now, you're going off the plan that you all approved
Yes.
previously,
Yes.
so.
Right, but now we're saying the
Feedback.
dollars in the breakdown.
Well, I just wanna make
We
sure.
just need a blessing.
Yeah. So we've got a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I don't like it.
I'm abstaining, so. 4 with 1 abstention.
Okay.
Sorry to point that out, Jonah, but.
No, that's fine. I'm glad you caught that one. I didn't catch the last one, so I mean, I did see it on there this time, so I was going to bring it up.
Okay, are you ready for one more item?
Actually, there'll be 2 more, but Janine's got this one.
Our accounting firm they gave us a bid of $35,000 unless they had some, and they have realized that they are spending way more time and so they've asked for an additional $20,345.71. And they have gone above and beyond.
I think that's not right. They've asked for an additional 25,000.
Yeah, 25,731 for a
Okay,
total of.
well, that's what was
60.
used, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, 25,731, so.
And it was this depending on if we have money left, it was, from what I read, it was approved by the state to up the amount of percentage that could be used for administrative.
Well, the initial amount that was approved to be used for administrative was a lot higher than
And
what they were
5%
charging
of the
us.
full 2 million, so.
Yeah.
So it's an increase of 1.465% to 2.541%, which is still far under what the allowance would have allowed. And I mean, they, like us, really didn't know what they were getting into. So,
And they didn't realize, like we didn't either, that the rules would be changing as we go.
and I believe that with all the experience we've had with that firm, we can still be comfortable with them. That being said, are you ready for a motion?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we go ahead and approve,
The addendum.
in the Swindle, Jansen, Hawk and Lloyd, accounting, increase the bid from 1.465 to 2.541%.
Second.
Is that correct? Or- Okay, I just want to make sure, because there's a $25,731,000 mark.
The
Yeah.
increase was listed as a percentage.
Okay, I just,
Yeah.
on
On that letter from them.
their final page, their last page, it says, I just wanted to make sure that it all matched up. Motion and a second on the floor. Hearing nobody making any alterations to that, I guess. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. And there's a signature page for the approval of the addendum.
Okay.
How many counties, Scott, I say, he's got?
Quite a few.
Quite a few, he's got a bunch. Can you imagine the number of people that have gone
Gained from 17 other counties.
to you all have, each county?
Can't even imagine.
Yeah.
They, on all these grant applications, they're checking all of that information
Yeah.
and making sure they have all the documentation. That's huge.
Yes.
And they know what they're doing.
Well, as Scott said, he's gonna call and find out some things to clear up. Not all-
And, you know, you send them an email with a question and it's not long at all and you get an answer back or a reply that they're looking into it, so.
And then the very last thing that I have are to approve the payables to reimburse according to the report, and so. That's where, to pay back the county, USD 408, USD 411, City of Hillsborough, and City of Marion.
That's that
And that's
last
the total.
section.
Mhm. The total is 295,602.28.
Since that's in a wrap, I'll let one of you guys take the lead on that.
I'd make that motion to pay the warrant funds with that listed there above, total of $295,602.28.
Yep.
Second.
Second, I can't. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just for safety, I'll abstain. I'm pretty sure once the warrant has been approved, I usually capable, but this time, a little gun shy, so I'll just stay out.
Okay, and so there are the vouchers to sign for that, for those. Maybe, I'll let you,
Something
under the green sheet.
Well, and as you said, Janine, look at your desk, and so when I come in there and look at your desk, I'm gonna assume that that's all COVID then.
A lot of it is.
So, and all the documentation goes to the accounting firm, you know, and so that's where it's going to, and then we receive it back on this report
And
from them.
also for a check for Janine, thank you for checking on Janine to make sure she's right.
Yeah, we
Yes,
kind of,
we've been spending a lot of time.
Oh, I can
visiting.
imagine.
yeah, we've been working together quite a bit, and then on the county expenses, I've been trying to put those into the report for Janine's review, so.
So they have, actually for each line item, they have a voucher,
An invoice.
an invoice, a paid receipt, something for each. So,
Yeah, you know, they walk that is.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
and they'll send back and say, we can't see such and such line, can you rescan? And so they're very thorough.
Just look at the billing for Marion County every month. I mean, and that's what they've got to do, the same
Mhm.
thing.
Right, exactly. So we are gonna try to, in order to get this, I mean, we're running out of time, so we're gonna try to be processing these on a weekly basis as far as the reimbursements. So you'll be seeing more of those.
Okay, unless you have any other questions?
Nope.
I'll go back to my desk. Maybe it's gotten more organized. That's all right. Thank you.
Something in there hanging up.
Yeah.
All hanging up.
Yeah, it's all hanging up. I just folded it over and did it, left it be.
It'll work that way.
Let Tina fight it later. Might need the Dragon Slayer sword on it.
We'll figure a way to mess it up.
Yeah. All right. And this time we got some commission executive sessions, session.
And if you need Bryce, he said he's available if you need to call him for anything.
Okay. There was, another, contract negotiation that I think, somebody would like to have that's on the board, and there is a, potential property acquisition that we need to have an executive session for. And then there was a non-elected personnel. Is everybody okay with adding those to executive sessions?
We're here to do business.
Okay. Make a motion to add the 4 additional executive sessions.
I think that's it.
Yeah, there's one more contract
Oh,
negotiation.
one
You
more
can do that
time.
into the same one.
Okay, so that's the same, so it'll be 3 more.
3 more.
The non-elected personnel, property acquisition, and yes, so the contract negotiation.
Should I get on that?
Yeah, they're just,
Yeah, you're on here.
Is that just 2?
so it's just 2, just 2.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, there's, each one of those line items had to have a signature check for each one of them.
I made motions for the 2 additional on the agenda.
I'll second.
Second by Ken. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. All right. So,
We're gonna send it back like Tina corrected us.
Fix the holes.
so I don't know which direction everybody wants to go, but I know Brad I've got the one on here for contract negotiation. I'll do that one first. So, I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss contract negotiation, matter of
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
With the board, Brad, Bryce, pursuant to KSA 75-4319B.
For attorney-client.
For attorney-client
Okay.
Second. I can't. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So
He's
Dave
already
stepped
gone.
away, so that's 4-0.
It's nice being out there on that part. Get up and use the restroom and just get going.
Yeah. I agree.
As opposed to the weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's
that's.
a little camera. And that's the big camera.
I was told.
I think I was
Nice.
getting Rick Mortis.
That explains
It
it.
happens sometimes. Yep. At least our chairs are pretty
Oh,
comfortable.
they are very nice.
Mm-hmm.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so out of executive session, no action taken. At this time, I need to make a motion that we move into, we recess into executive session in order to discuss potential property acquisition, which is that item number 6, for a matter of 10 minutes with the board. Just the board.
And Brad.
Brad.
And Brad. Pursuant to KSA 75-4319B.
Second.
Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will be back at 12:38.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. This time, move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel for 10 minutes with the board and Tina, pursuant to KSA 75-4319B.
Does that mean Brad has to leave?
Well, Brad, I can include Brad. I mean, I don't think there's anything sensitive that he's gonna get us in trouble.
Oh, you didn't mention him, so I
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
wondering.
Yeah, I didn't prove it.
I'll just include him.
Second.
Second?
That was really one second.
Yeah,
Who got the second?
Diane.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, he's back.
He's back. I heard him.
I was just gonna keep you on speaker until
Okay, so back at 12:51.
12:51?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Camera's coming on.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. So, need to do budgetary purposes. Just explain a thought process on the administrator that was budgeted. And we got my, and a few other people's work up as far as how to make the budget fit. And I'll get back to those. So since we would need in my opinion, finding a headhunter on finding the right individual, and figuring out how to contract those individuals would be in the administrator search line item. The setup intern really wouldn't be an intern, it would be a setup person, more or less. Start developing the flow chart of how this all comes together, and that person would be part-time and not be full-time. But then after the administrator search comes into play, which would be closer towards middle of the year, would be the full-time administrator over on that second line of salary. And just a break, rough sketch, thought process of all the other benefits and other items for the administrator. Then in 2022, you get into the full swing, just using the budget number that we, it's a little higher. I think the budget number was 139, but for easy math, we just went with 140, just to not break everything down into cents.
And so who is we? Who did make this up?
So there's a guy that I've worked with in the past. His name is Don Osenbaum. And I shared this with Dave Crowfoot, but I can't share it with everybody without being in a meeting here. So that's what I'm doing now.
Right. Spell Osenbach.
Osenbaugh.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. So anyway, I just it's coming up on the new budget year, and I just wanted to get the ball rolling on the headhunter portion of it. I know we can't spend any funds in 2020, but I was looking to move forward on contract negotiation. I'll let everybody process that for a week.
This also needs some thought processes to where this person would be set up. Would he be in the courthouse? Because right now, we're not set up in any way, shape, or form for an administrator, because administrator's gotta have, is gonna have a secretary. There's no doubt about that.
And
I don't
then
know, how do you how do you transform facility in order to incorporate all that in, and there's a cost to that too. It really needs to be thrown in there.
There is personnel that will, based on, I mean, if you remember my flow chart from Franklin County, there's a lot of the duties that are put off on the clerk get assumed by the administrator.
Right.
And so some of that shift is in there. And I just knew that we budgeted in the budget and want to make sure we keep moving forward with that.
Put it in the budget without everybody approving it, even though the ballot, the budget was approved and so on and so forth. But I think if a well thought out plan was maybe presented, well, now we got 5 commissioners where we used to have 3, and it was turned down. So I don't know. I think how long is the vote by the public good for?
Until the next vote to change it, I would assume.
I guess to the next vote changes it probably, yeah.
Probably.
And so that's something too. If a well thought out plan is laid out there, I think everybody needs to look at it. But just like Kent said, all of the extras that goes with that. You just can't throw this administrative position out here at $140,000 because I can guarantee you, go every county around you and see what they've got for extra people. And just what you said, secretary, place, both counties, the big counties around us has the budgetary person, and they also have the personnel person and the stuff that goes with that. And those are extra positions at $70,000, $80,000 a year or more. And so I'm not saying that I'm just completely against it, but I've just never seen it laid out pretty enough for me to accept a vote for so far. And I think it's all, like you said, maybe somebody that's got the expertise in it. I'm not gonna say.
Well, kind of jumped off into commission comments there. I need to go back and hit public comments and make sure there's none of them. I noticed that there's only a couple people on the site, and then there's nobody in the room, so I'm going to go ahead. Is there a mic on?
Yes, Laura has her mic on.
Is there a public comment? Nope. Yep. I didn't open up mine, so I can't. But anyway, hearing no public comments, I will go ahead and close public comments and allow any other commissioner comments. Didn't mean to cut that off.
No.
Kind of jumped out of executive session and went right into it, so I just.
So does anybody have a commission comment? Because I have 2.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so I have 2 comments. And one, I'm going to just go back to, well, what's happening nationwide and all the voter fraud. And it just kind of reiterates to me a little bit how very important the voting process in our nation is and where the fraud sometimes begins. And I'm going to say right here in Marion County that I believe that we also experienced some of that. And I'll go back a little bit, like I was not here for this last election. I didn't even come to the courthouse. It's like, you know, why bother? But the vote that we had before last year, when we picked the 5, there was a guy named Jerry Mendoza who was an actual agent, a voting agent for her, and he was an authorized assigned agent, went through the documentation and all that stuff to be that, and he was not allowed in here to actually stand by and watch the count. And I kind of remembered that, but I went back and I did contact other people like the marshals that were here and myself and Jerry himself and some other people that actually witnessed. We all sat out here in the hallway. And so I'm hoping that that does get corrected going forward, because when people are actual voter agents, and you hear about on the news now to where people were not allowed to even, observe. And I realize the law does provide that they have to stay back and so they're not disruptive, got it. But still, we need to, I think we need to be a little bit more cautious as we go forward, just for the sake of transparency. And then I will also reiterate, the year prior to that, we had a lot of the counters and things upstairs. And nobody was allowed to go upstairs. You would see who those counters were. And there was a point in time that Tom Britton just started right up the steps. He wanted to see who was up there. And he was quickly escorted back down. And that sticks in my mind as well. It's probably a bit inappropriate. So I'm just saying these are probably small things, but if you look at what's happening in the big scale, it kind of funnels right back to the same thing, a lack of transparency. And when you hide things like this, it does lead the public to lose confidence. And it does lead people to distrust elections. And so I'm just asking for a little tiny county like Marion and all the other counties to be cautious on these type of things. The next thing my next subject that I wanted to bring up is, I believe the lawsuit now is probably all over with the Eitzen case. I think everything has probably been done, if I'm not mistaken. And so, having said that, my frustration is with the wind farm up north and all the misinformation that the people up there have, and they don't know anything, because everything we do is always an executive session. So they only know one side of the story. And that's usually what their agent tells them. That's what they always listen to. So, but now that the lawsuit is over, I do have all the depositions. I do have a lot of documentation that has a lot of facts that pertain to that I think the public needs to know. And I think I just want everybody to know, and I will share it with anybody that wants a copy of it to read it if you're interested, because it's a done deal now. And especially to other counties that are still battling lawsuits, or not lawsuits, but wind farms, to give it to them and let them see what you should and should not do, and mistakes that we made, or the reason for the lawsuit. And so maybe they can avoid some of that. And I think I'm going to distribute it to anybody that wants it and just give it out. Because, this was quite an experience. I can't tell you how many counties were watching Marion County. And so it does affect the process that the wind farms take, and it does affect the process that people can take to protect themselves. And so I just want to let everybody know, so you're not surprised. But like I said, I will certainly share them with the commissioners. If anybody has any particular one they want to see, I will make those copies and get them to you. And that's my only comments.
Going back to, Diane, you said Mr. Mendoza. Did I hear you right? You said he was a voter agent?
Yes, he was an authorized assigned agent for Amy Soye.
It was a
Okay.
poll watcher.
Poll watcher.
Okay,
Yes.
I wanted to get that straight because I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, he's a poll watcher that he was able to be there, and yeah, he sat out the hallway with us. And he
I
should have
had a
been allowed.
seat in the room for him,
Yeah.
but
Well,
he
and
did not sit there. I spoke with him before, so, and I don't want to get into a whole lot about
Right.
that, but I did not deny him access to it.
Well, and you said that once before too, and that's why I wanted to go back and just make sure my memory served me right. So I'm not going to get into an argument, but that's not what he said, that's not what he saw, and that's not what the other people saw, so just leave it at that.
Well,
So,
I was here, and I do remember, there was an L shape, like this last one, there was a table in front of the door, so you
Right.
couldn't come through the doorway. But there was an L shape, and there was a spot where you could actually step onto the carpet.
And come into the room, and we even had the machine closer to the door
But
for him.
I think he
he sat out in the hallway with us,
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
conversed.
There was-
And
there
he
was-
upset, and he was texting and stuff like that.
And I do know that he said he wasn't allowed in, but I'm not sure if you meant all the way in, or if you meant into that area, or I'm
He
not
should
sure.
have been able to come into the room, is the way it works.
So,
I wish I would have known there was that misunderstanding. I thought he had chosen to sit there because we made a specific seat for him
No.
in the room. So.
No, he was very put out about it, and so there's a lot of other people, and to this day, I just spoke to him the other day. And so, and I just, you know, just what we see on the nation's, front, it just, you know, goes back to, it happens right here in Little County, so we're certainly not exempt, from that, and it's just I won't be here going forward, I'm just kind of putting, you know, that we just need to be a little bit more cautious on those type of things, because voting, people do take it very seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Some
it's-
people do.
That you got to. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yes.
our democracy is built on believing that the system works.
Mhm. That was it.
I just wanted to bring up again about the bid processes that we've talked about several times, not for the last several weeks, but still think maybe we need to have a policy with a threshold of dollars that
A 5% threshold for locals.
that included.
Yes.
I just think that's a more transparent process. And
It'd be good to have it on any bid requests.
And, you know, I don't know what that dollar threshold would be. We were talking about 10,000, it could be 50, you know, the large purchases. I just wanna make sure that we're all in the same place, that local businesses feel like they get a fair shake, those kind of things. And there's a lot of examples out there of counties and cities that actually have a policy with a bid process.
Yeah. It'd be neat to see it all.
I just think that it would be wise on the commission's part to institute a policy like that.
And I'd like to say I agree with that as well, but I would like to keep it to a smart percentage to make sure that we still keep our people competitive. You know, because if you go 10% or $5,000,
Yeah.
that's still taxpayer money.
Right.
Usually it's done in other places based on percentage, because it's a factor built into money that's spent here, stays here, circles back around, gets back to
5%, whatever that would be.
So,
We certainly want to invest as much as we can in the county. And we can't all the time, we know that, but there are instances where we can.
And so, the other thing I'd like, Diane, you said the Heitzen lawsuit is done.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Is
it's
there
all history.
the one holdout, even though it wasn't Heitzen, is gone now?
I think so.
Good.
I think he had a court case today, but I think my understanding is it's gonna be over. Am I right? Did you hear?
Yes,
yeah.
Okay.
what I was saying.
Hmm? Yeah, that's what I thought.
That,
But it's
that
good,
motion
it's on
was
the court
granted.
portal and stuff. It's public information. Yeah.
So, all right. Anybody else?
Have a
And
happy
his wheels
Thanksgiving.
are turning.
Yeah, we got
You're
Friday.
too early.
Randy's got wheels turning again. I don't think
We
Randy.
do have canvas on Friday,
Yeah.
so don't forget
Yep,
that.
yep.
9 o'clock.
I was gonna ask, is that the last day that we could actually do that?
Yes.
Okay, because I may have an issue with that day. And of course, I know that if I can't be here, I have to appoint someone.
That's what I thought. Since we did the first campus, we should be able to appoint somebody to be out of this one.
No, I think you haven't been here long enough. You need to have a couple more before you get that same pass.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that gonna be at, what, 9 o'clock?
9. Yes.
And since we're at that, is everything working out? I mean, haven't heard nothing. I haven't asked. Is everything?
We're getting ready to start compiling all the write-ins. That's what we started, my staff started this morning, so,
Oh, man. Yeah, there's that one race, so there's gonna be a lot of writing.
yes, correct.
Oh,
So it's gonna take
Yeah.
you sure I can't appoint somebody?
I'm worried about that
Well,
one.
we're putting all that into the
Well, I mean,
spreadsheet,
can you be
so.
part of it since you were on the ballot?
Yeah, but I was accepted in the primary because I was unopposed.
Okay.
Everybody else got to get out because they had an opposition.
Okay, but now what?
Now you didn't have an opposition, so you're in it too, buddy.
Oh.
And she was stepped out, so she's in it too.
Yeah.
Dave would be Dave didn't have after the primary, so.
That's sort of different with all of us being run except.
Yeah, because normally on a canvas, you only have
Yeah.
one or two
Yeah.
commissioners.
Is that all legit? Just to be sure?
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the official guru
Which
as far
one?
as elections go.
You can all serve, yes.
Okay.
Can we ask for a recall on that, make sure?
We would, we
You
would.
know what, if, once you certify the results, if anybody has a problem with them and wants to file under legal grounds, they can do that,
Yeah.
So we would expect to go into the afternoon on that, I'm guessing.
probably.
Yeah, the primary went into the afternoon, and that was less.
We have
less-
133 provisionals to address, and so that's,
This might go into the wee evening.
no, it
Oh.
shouldn't. I thought we might actually have more than we did.
I start making the wrong kind of marks after about 1:30.
Well, that's why I just read them off. I get the monotone voice and read it off. Let everybody else make the marks. All right. Anything else? Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
That was
Anything
quick.
about that, Randy?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Aye. 5-0.
So where do I go to research the December 8th date that you gave?
I seen it on Barlow.
Oh.